Well, there you all are, and welcome in tonight to the Six Screens Telenetwork live streaming. And my goodness, I'm so glad to see so many people coming in. We have got a blustery cold night up here in New England, and it looks like snow tomorrow. It'll be one of our biggest snowstorms of the year. I guess, well, they're calling for maybe 8 inches to a foot, but that's not too bad. But I hope it is good where you are. And I hope you're staying warm tonight. And I hope you're cozying up to the sixth screen because we got a lot to talk about tonight. Anyways, my name's Rick Ferrin, and I'm coming to you from the apostate capital of the world up here in Boston, Massachusetts. And just wanted to make a couple of announcements. Last week we did the program, and I was starting to feel crummy during the program. But I got through it okay. I lost all my notes. And I was kind of confused and wasn't sure what was happening. But we got through the program, all right. In fact, we got close to 5,000 clicks, on that program. But I went to bed that night. It was after after Eric had his program, and I was up to about 1:30, and then I went to bed, and boy, I couldn't sleep all night. Then the following morning, I was sick. I mean, really sick. As sick as I've only been sick like that once ever in my whole life. And I got up in the morning. It was about 8 o'clock. I said, I got to go to the walk-in clinic. So I went to the walk-in clinic, and I was coughing and hacking and choking, and it was just terrible. And come to find out, I got COVID, if you can believe it. Now, I know many on this network, because of some of the programs we have, you kind of didn't think COVID was real. Well, let me assure you, I'm sure the government has overstretched it and overblown it, so to speak. But I'm going to tell you, if that was COVID, it was brutal. I sat here for 3 days, basically without sleeping, just coughing and hacking and choking and sneezing. And it was just absolutely nuts. Confused, couldn't swallow. It was a terrible time. And then as the week progressed along, they gave me some COVID medicine. They call it a COVID, I forget what they call it. It was a COVID medicine anyways, they gave me. So anyways, I did get better. They gave me some antibiotics. They weren't quite sure if I had COVID or maybe walking pneumonia or something. But whatever it was brutal. And anyways, so it cleared all up. And so I'm doing good here tonight. But yesterday, my beautiful wife, Susan, she was confused and coughing. And so I brought her up to the walk-in clinic. And sure enough, she now has COVID. She doesn't seem to have it as bad as I had it. And God may he help her with that, because, boy, I'll tell you, I hope she doesn't get it as bad as I got it. But then also tonight, when we're doing our Spanish program, Efren, the man that does the Spanish program here on the six screens, he told me he got COVID last week. And then he also told me that his wife got it. And the hospital said that something's going around with this COVID, pneumonia, a cold, a cough, whatever. So be careful out there. But one thing I learned, one thing I did learn, your mother always said, put a coat on, put a hat on. And, I never really understood that. I was always wondering, well, can the cold actually give you a cold? Can the cold give you pneumonia? I'm not sure of that, but prior to last Saturday and last Friday, I was out working, and I just had like a sweatshirt on, but I probably should have been a little warmer dressed, because I'm thinking sometimes if your body gets run down, that, these infections, COVID, pneumonia, or a cold, or anything along those lines could enter. So dress up. Don't go out and, just make believe you're some type of a He-Man, because I'll tell you what, you get hit with this COVID, you're going to feel it, and may you not get it. Believe me, I hope that. Well, anyways, we're glad to have you with us, as we say. And we do have the duck up here. You can see the duck because he's right there. He's hanging. I'll show him right here. That's the duck right here. So if you hear this noise right here, that is the noise of the duck. If you hear that noise, you say the secret word, the duck will come down and give you $20. So we have 2 secret words tonight. And someone remind me after the program, I'll tell you what those words are. So, in the meantime, everyone's getting excited about the convention we got coming up, Still Alive in 2025. Been getting a lot of emails and people writing me, Rick, booked me in for the convention. Now, I'm dealing with the Hilton Hotel up here, and Hilton is dragging their feet. They don't want to really give me a day because it's so far out. It's we're gonna have the well, hopefully we're gonna have the convention August 1, 2, 3, first, second, third, 2025. We're looking forward to have that convention up here at the Hilton outside of Boston, and they just dragging their feet on telling me when we can have it. I know they can't give me a price because we're a year and a half out, but if I could at least get the date. So I've been pushing them, but still no word yet. So, anyways, if you like to go to that convention and you want to start making plans for it, write me at jwworldnews@gmail.com. And I'll put you on the list. And those that have written me, you will be getting some tickets. I'm just getting some things here together. But those that have already written me, the first in, first served. So you want to make sure we're only going to have room for about 500 people. So the first 500 that respond will have a seat in the auditorium. If you don't have a ticket, you might have to just pop your head in the doorway or listen out in the lobby. But anyways, if you're gonna think, at least if you're thinking you could make it, you don't have to totally commit yourself. But if you think you could make it to the Still Alive in 2025 convention up here in Boston, and it'll be the first ex-Jehovah's Witness convention of its type, we'll have speakers that'll be here and talking about their trek in the Watchtower. We're going to have on Friday a meet and greet. So people coming in from all over the world will be able to tell their story on how they have been touched by the tentacles of the Watchtower. So that's, hey, isn't that something to look forward to? I'm looking forward to it. I really, really am. It's going to be the highlight of our Six Screens career to see so many people come together and have a good time and good fellowship, all enjoying each other's company. So see if you can't make it. Write me, jwworldnews@gmail.com. Well, anyways, I think by now you do know, at least I think you know, the truth. The truth. It's downsizing. Yep, the Watchtower is downsizing. And that's, of course, Jehovah God's organization. It's not growing. It's not growing, but Watchtower keeps trying to tell the rank and file that they are. They're constantly bragging about how wonderful and wondrous the organization is, but they're lying. They are right now, they're actually shutting down. Now, God's organization is shutting things down as much as they can. They're selling off property like crazy. They're pocketing the proceeds while they're lying to the rank and file. And, I've said it numerous times here in the last 19 years of doing this program. The Watchtower is dead. It just hasn't fallen over yet. Seriously, I felt that way for a long time. You know it. I know it. It's without any question at all. We can say the Watchtower organization is broken. Yes, an organization like the Watchtower right now, they would not be making so many changes if things were going well. Now, let me just emphasize that once again. Any organization, they would not make any changes if things were going really good for them. And the Watchtower right now is making changes like we've never seen before. Things are not going well for the Watchtower. And the old saying, we know the saying, if it ain't broken, don't fix it. Well, the Watchtower must really be broken because they're trying to fix it like they've never tried to fix anything before. Now, what this reminds me of is the Edsel. Are you familiar with the Edsel? Well, that was a car. That was a car named after Henry Ford's son, Edsel. And that Edsel was produced in 1958 to 1960. Those were the model years. It was the biggest dud that the Ford Motor Company ever came out with. It came pretty close to putting them out of business, to be quite frank. Well, that's exactly what I'm thinking about the Watchtower. I'm thinking that they produced the Edsel here in the last few years, maybe the last decade, and this Edsel that they produced, or this bad product, is not working. The Watchtower's product right now is bad. It's not working at all. Now, some have suggested, not only here on the six screens, but on other sites I've been on, some have suggested that Jehovah's Witnesses have actually hired professional PR companies to come up with ideas to stop the bleeding. This makes sense to me. I mean, I don't know about you, but they would hire, there are companies that specialize in this. If you have a company that is on the way out, it's going down the tubes fast, it's heading toward bankruptcy, there are companies that you can hire that'll come in and try to fix it for you. They'll try to give you ideas. They study this. They know what to do. So I believe the Watchtower right now has a PR company, maybe more than one, and it's making sense. And they're trying to make changes rapidly, as quickly as they possibly can, to stop the hemorrhage. They've got to stop the hemorrhage. There's too many people leaving the Watchtower. Now, changes, according to, I'm sure, these people that are making the new policy at Watchtower, they're saying changes are necessary in order to keep the witnesses in. There's just way too many Jehovah's Witnesses leaving, and that's not just, listen, don't say, Rick, you're looking through rose-colored glasses. I'm not the only guy saying this. If you've been watching some of the XJW YouTube channels, the XJW forums, have you been on those at all? I'm not the only guy here blowing my horn against the Watchtower and saying that, they're in deep doo-doo. But they are making the changes. We all know that. Now, the organization realizes that changes can be a real problem. And I'm sure if they do have PR people, that's exactly what the PR people will tell any company. Any company that's on the verge of sliding and going under, the PR people will say, listen, you got to make the changes, but people aren't going to like it. And that's exactly what's going on in the witness world today. The witnesses, especially the older rank and file ones, they're not buying all of this. The risks of change include many things. Have you ever stopped and thought about it? No, nobody really likes change. Do you like it even when Google changes your email page? Or when all of a sudden you're used to doing something a certain way and now something changed? Nobody likes change. So there's risks involved in change. And the Watchtower knows that there would be big time risks whenever you change something. Now, what is a change in a Watchtower? What is this doing for the people? Well, the rank and file right now, they're stressed. Yes, the rank and file Jehovah's Witnesses, they're stressed beyond like they've never been before. They're confused. Yes, they're disengaging from mother. It's something's wrong at the top. Changes, well, they diminish enthusiasm. Yeah, a lot of witnesses, they're not enthusiastic anymore. I can tell by some of the sites I get on and some of the things I see that people writing about their friends that are still in the Watchtower world. Their enthusiasm is diminished. There's a lot of these rank and file people, especially ones that have been in for quite a while now, they're experiencing unbelievable confusion. And then what happens? Then what happens is there's a loss of productivity. Yes, unmanaged, the poorly managed change, that's what's going on right now. And I have to say, it's poorly managed change that's taking place in the Watchtower, and it's very disruptive to the Jehovah's Witness ability to be productive. How can they really want to get time in, even though they don't have to report time anymore? How would they even want to be totally giving all to the Watchtower when they see all of this change disrupting the very way they've been doing business for so long? Friends, how much can the rank and file take? How much change can the rank and file take? Well, I mean, in the last, 10 years or so, the overlapping generation. What a joke. What a change. There's witnesses that can't explain that. I mean, that is going to be disturbing. So maybe they put that on the back burner and just let that be. And then all of a sudden, they hear about this no reporting time anymore. Friends, this is overwhelming to the Jehovah's Witness rank and file. And then we also learned in the last month or two about repenting at the last minute. I mean, we always knew and were always taught that, when the ark of salvation closed, when Noah, they're using the example of Noah, when the ark's door closed, that was it. There was no getting in. It was done, finished, stick a fork in it, you're dead meat. But now the Watchtower has made a reversal on that. They're saying that, that door is now open and you'll be able to repent and come at the very last minute. This stuff is very unsettling to the rank and file witness. So now, just on December 15th, that's not even a month ago, Stephen Lett, he comes out and he says, okay, you can now have beards. Don't worry. Even for years we said you couldn't. We're going to make a change on that. As a matter of fact, I got thinking of a new book for the Watchtower. Millions now living will never shave. I kind of found that fascinating because there's now millions of men, Jehovah's Witness men, that aren't shaving. So my prediction, I do have a prediction. Now maybe you have a prediction. Maybe you have a prediction for the organization. And I can tell you there's going to be way more changes that are on the horizon. They're going to continue to make changes. This is just the beginning. This is just the starting line, really, for all the changes to come. Now, I'm going to mention some changes, but I'm not going to do it in any particular order here. You might agree, you might not. It's just my thoughts. I mean, don't take it to the bank and cash it. I'm not saying this is going to take place, but I'm going to say there's some things I'm thinking of that could take place. The Jehovah's Witness organization, as we know, is hemorrhaging big time. More, I would be willing to go on the record to say the Jehovah's Witness organization right now is losing way more people than they ever had in their history. Now, I know of two historical time events where the Jehovah's Witness organization, Watchtower, lost 250,000 people in one shot. Well, that'd be back in 1925. That was one of them. That was when, of course, Rutherford was ruffling everybody's cage and the Bible students didn't like him and he was nothing but a big blowhard. And the Bible students got up and packed. In 1925, the Watchtower lost 250,000 people. You don't hear too much about that. But now let's run the clock forward. Let's go forward to 1975. In 1975, we learned that 250,000 people left then, according to the figures that calculated using Watchtower publications. They lost 250,000 people based on what? Based on the fact that 1975, that was going to be the end. That was going to be the end of the system. Stay alive till 75, as they would say. Well, they lost a lot of people by saying that. But right now, I'm going on the record to tell you there's way more than 250,000 people that are packing their bags from the Watchtower. Now, it's a different class of leaving. We know that they might not just be walking out the back door, but they're going into what we call the PMO class. I don't have to tell you guys, I'm preaching to the choir. Physically in, mentally out is an acronym. There's many, many witnesses right now that are physically in and mentally out. They're going to the meetings just to satisfy people that are their friends and relatives so that they don't distance and shun them. So I would say, I'm just going to say this. I'll go on the record to say it. You guys can hold me to it if you want. But I would say right now there's well over 1 million PMOs. That number could even be, that could be very conservative. There's well over 1 million PMOs right now. So anyways, the point I'm trying to make, the Watchtower is hemorrhaging. They have to make changes. The Watchtower is trying to keep as many people in as they can. I think that's the reason for the changes. They want men to be able to wear beards. After all, that is the fashion du jour, right? That's the fashion of the day. Men wear men wear beards. So, just let men wear beards and we can probably keep more men in, especially young ones. And of course, this idea of not reporting time, I think that would appeal to you, wouldn't it? Well, it certainly would appeal to me. I think that's a pretty neat thing. A lot of witnesses, they're very stressed. They're stressed because they have to report time. So by, doing away with time reporting, well, right off the bat, you're going to get some favorable thoughts about, oh, isn't the Watchtower being nice to us? So that might keep some people in from leaving. So then, of course, there's other things according the also you can really kind of give up on Jehovah and come back on the very last minute. They're going to let you do that. But these changes are causing stress. So here's my thoughts. Here's my predictions. I'm thinking it's only a matter of time now. And what's going to happen is the Watchtower is going to say, okay, sisters, you can now wear dress pants to the meetings and out in service if you're going to go out in service. So I think that could happen. But here's the one that I'm going to really put this in a little envelope and put a bow on it. I think this is going to happen. The Watchtower, I'm sure the powers that be is sitting down. They're trying to come up with unbelievable ideas to keep people in or to get new recruits. So I'm thinking one of the best ways to do it is let the Jehovah's Witnesses marry unbelievers. You heard me right. Let the Jehovah's Witnesses marry unbelievers. And I say, wait a minute, Rick, that is way over the top. I can't believe it. Well, do you realize how many recruits they could get by allowing a Jehovah's Witness woman who maybe can't find a marriage mate right now because there's a lot less men in the organization than there is women? So, maybe she finds Mr. Handsome and the Prince at work, but she's not able to really date him or do anything with him. So maybe they're just going to allow her to say marry an unbeliever, and she's going to bring him into the so-called truth, and vice versa, even for a man. Dick, what do you think? I see you on there with us.
Yeah, Rick, thank you. I think in the 80s, the mid-80s, Jehovah's Witnesses allowed anyone to speak to a disfellowship person. And that they did that for almost a year. Then they rescinded that, said, nope, you can't talk to disfellowship people anymore. Another major turnabout that they did was they said that the anointed, when there used to be hundreds of them, in different congregations, well, they threw them under the bus, and the only person that were anointed now was the governing body. So those are two major turnarounds that those folks did. Thank you, Rick.
Well, there's two more turnaround, right, Dick? You're absolutely right. But they've been doing it right along, but now they're ramping it up. It's like never before have we seen them make these changes. So, there's many people here, I'm sure, that are doubting this idea of marrying unbelievers. But at this point, what would you really care? If you had a business that was going down the tubes and you're saying, look, at how are we going to raise revenue? And I'm thinking they're trying to raise as much revenue as they can for that Ramapo project up in Ramapo, New York. That's that big mega media center, video, audio. It's close to $500 million, 500 million are some of the numbers I've heard floating around. So they're trying to raise money. How are you going to raise money if you're not bringing in new recruits? So at this point, I don't think they care about unbelievers. I don't think they care about people wearing a beard. I don't think they care about people going out in service and reporting time. The only thing they care about is getting enough money, in my estimation, for Ramapo. So other things I'm thinking they could change. How about changing the disfellowshipping standards? Now, don't have a heart attack. I know everybody's thinking, oh, geez, Rick, no, they can't do that. That'll never happen. Well, I'm thinking they could if they do it in stages or they do it in such a way, different stages or events. For example, okay, change the disfellowshipping standard. Maybe the disfellowship can go to the meeting and he can be or she can be talked to at a meeting. Just might not be able to talk to them outside a meeting. That's a possibility. They might play games with this fellowshipping. I'm also thinking that certain holidays will be allowed, or maybe they'll relax the enforcement of some of these holidays, like birthdays or even Thanksgiving. that's a possibility, right? I don't think that's too far fetched. I think that would keep a lot more people in. And a lot more people might want to become a Jehovah's Witness if they knew they could celebrate Mother's Day or Father's Day or celebrate their birthday. And then this one here, I don't know, but I got thinking. I know the witnesses have been picked on, not only here at the Six Screens, but all over the various ex-witness sites. The witnesses have been picked on for their no charity work. They do diddly squat, nothing to help people. So maybe, just maybe, the Jehovah's Witnesses might engage in more outreach work. Possibly, I'm just thinking out loud, possibly building homes for the poor, or even maybe feeding poor people. We know they never did that before, but in order to get their tarnished reputation out of the toilet, maybe they'll do that. And of course, maybe they'll make donations to help people. I don't know. I'm just thinking that they got to do something. They get to make a PR move here to make them look like a viable Christian organization, which we know they're not. Then the other thing we're going to see, we talked about Robert Hendricks on here a lot. Well, he's the Watchtower PR man, you could say. He works in the Department of, Public Relations and Public Information. And he's been coming on and doing these infomercials, these paid infomercials and various small town communities on the television programs and putting articles in the paper on how wonderful the Jehovah's Witnesses are. Expect more of that. Just expect more of that, because you're going to see a lot more of that. And then another thing I got thinking, I was watching the Hallmark Channel the other day. So I got thinking, geez, maybe the Watchtower with this big mega studio they're building, maybe they could come up with a little network, kind of like the Hallmark network, and they could make made-for-TV movies with wholesome themes, kind of like that Hallmark Channel, right? I'm just thinking, I mean, that Hallmark Channel, they know it makes money. And believe it or not, there are people that like wholesome theme. Don't you? I don't think everybody likes raunchy, crazy stuff. But I'm thinking that this is the great way, because they could attract a lot of people, especially mothers raising little children. Oh, what a nice, the Watchtower channel, what a nice channel. Look at the nice, wholesome programs. Friends, they're going to try every trick in the book. We know that. They're going to try every trick in the book. So also, I'm thinking that the door-to-door work, as we know it, they still do go door-to-door, believe it or not, even though they don't have to count their time. But I'm thinking they're either going to shut that down or heavily de-emphasize it. I don't think they're going to emphasize it much at all. So, anyways, I'm beginning to see that these changes are going to keep coming in rapid fire. In order for this corporation or this organization, in order for it to survive as a business as we know it, they need to go more mainstream. They're not going to make it in the cult-like way, the high control group that they organize right now. Right now, you have so many people that are being ticked off in the organization. Now, who are the ones that are getting ticked off the most? Who are the ones that are really the most aggravated with what's going on in the Watchtower? Well, it's the old guard. It's the old timers, so to speak. It's been those that have been in for 30, 40, 50, 60 years. And they only have 10, 15 more years to go. And the Watchtower doesn't really care about them. They could care less about the old guard. Get rid of them. Who cares? They'll be dead here in 10, 15 years. The only care that the Watchtower right now is caring about is preserving the younger people that are left in the organization. That's the only care they have. I'm sure the PR people told them that. Keep the young ones in at all cost. So there you have it. What do you think about the changes? Do you have any ideas on what the changes might be? Would you like to speculate here on the Six Screens? Well, go ahead and hit *6 and come on. Say hello to us. You're on with us. Go ahead. Dick, I guess you're back with us. Go ahead, Dick. Yeah.
Yeah, I think they're going to cast a soft light on the United Nations. At one time, it was the harlot, and now the United Nations is doing good things, bringing peace to the world, which isn't true. But I think they're going to be soft peddling the United Nations. Thank you.
Yeah, I think you're right with that. In fact, I know you're right with. I'll give you a gold star for that, because even in that convention, Exercise Patience Convention 2023, there was a video, and they showed people going to a United Nations refugee camp. What are they doing that for? But it was United Nations refugee camp. So I think they're going to try to, soft pedal the United Nations and, eventually say that, yeah, indeed, they are indeed a part of it. For whatever reason, they'll come up with some crazy reason. Well, if you'd like to speak up, if you'd like to say hello to us, go ahead. I'm going to put the number up on YouTube. I'd love to have you speak up and talk. We do have a number of people listening in on radio network as well. But if you'd like to call into the program, by all means do that. And here's the number right now. It's on your screen on YouTube, and you can see it on Facebook as well. So the Watchtower is not moving too quickly lately to brag about their service report. Now, the service year, we know the service year ends in August and it starts up in September. So we know they've always been slow here the last few years, reporting the 2023 service report. Years ago, that would have been way by now. But it's not that far behind it, because last year it didn't come out to the 10th of January, the full service report. We got bits and pieces of it, but we're looking to the Watchtower to come out with that report. Now, like I say, they're not really that fast in moving. Generally the Watchtower is bragging about this, that, and how much time, but I don't think they're going to be able to do it this time. And like I said, last year, the service report was published around January 10th. So, there's still time for them to come out. But I think, now I'm just thinking out loud here, but I'm thinking this could be the last service report that the Jehovah's Witness organization will ever really get involved with. Cutting back on the time, they could easily just come out and say, well, in view of us cutting back on time, and it's no longer necessary, we don't think it's necessary to have a service report. So that's a possibility, really, when you think about it. So this may be the last one that they'll ever publish, and maybe we'll never see another service report again. Because, what can you really brag about? What can you really brag about? They've been massaging the numbers here for years. They massage it, or they blatantly lie. And in this case, they're holding back from releasing it as long as they can. And last year, if you remember, we read the service report right here on the 6 screens. Most countries last year, the 2022 service report, most countries were showing a big decline. In fact, the whole organization is in decline. In Bethel, it is. It's no question about it. How can the organization even lie to the people, saying that they're growing leaps and bounds when they're not? The Bethel lights, we understand that they're downsizing them. They're selling Kingdom Halls off. I'm not the only one saying this. I'm not. You watch other ex-witness YouTube and get on their sites. They're downsizing, selling Kingdom Halls off, and how much printing is being done nowadays. Every convention, there was either, years ago, 2, 3, 4 books that were released. That's no longer the case. That they're hardly even printing anything these days. Congregations are merging. What do you think that's all about? They're trying to create an illusion. These guys are master magicians. They're trying to create an illusion by merging congregations. So you have one congregation is doing lousy. So you take the 30, 40, 50 people from that congregation, move them over to another. And maybe you have another congregation doing lousy, move them to the same congregation. So now you get all these people coming. Wow, look at all the people we got coming to the congregation. Not so fast. These aren't new recruited ones. These are people who have already been going to the meeting, and now, the Kingdom Halls look full. Some of them because of the merging. The young ones, well, we know they don't want to get baptized. We got reports that came in all summer long from the convention, and we had pictures. We had pictures of people being baptized. We had so many empty seats we showed you. We had reports on the baptisms, and it was all older people. It was all older people. Very few young ones are wanting to get baptized. So the organization is in a big decline. So either they lie about the numbers or they don't release the numbers. I'm pretty sure they're going to release the numbers this year, but don't plan on it for next year. Well, I'm glad you're with us. You're on JW World News. That's the news the Watchtower doesn't want us talking about, but we talk about it every Saturday night and every other Sunday right here on the Six Screens Tele Network. Okay, we got, looks like 615. You're on with us. Great, 615. I think that's Eric. Hello, Eric.
Hey, Rick. How you doing, buddy? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I just wanted to add, I'm reading something here, and we all remember Sears, right? Craftsman,
Yeah.
Sears in 2018 had 3,500 stores across the world. Now, in 2023, November 6th, they have 13 stores remaining, including 12 in the U.S. and 1 in Puerto Rico. I thought they were bankrupt and gone. I thought they were no more. I mean, I have Sears tools. In fact, I might need some warranty on my sockets because they give you a new one. But my point being, bringing that up, is we watched the demise of a really good company. I liked Sears, actually. Craftsman. I was in auto body for almost 20 years, and cutting corners and having cheaper tools it's not a horrible thing, and they weren't really that cheap, and they had a lifetime warranty. My point being of all this, we're watching the slow decline of Watchtower. The same thing. They used to be a great big company, and now look what they whittled down to now. I'm hearing on Reddit that congregations are having 13 people on a Sunday. That is nothing, and that's including Zoom. That's really bad and pathetic. And Watchtower is basically like Sears. They whittled the way down to nothing. This great empire that used to have people. There's nothing left of this company. It's actually for all of your work that you've done, Rick, over the years. You're actually seeing your hard work pay off, because we're watching the crumble of Watchtower in front of our eyes, whether the people and the members even realize it themselves or not. But I don't mean to ramble, but I thought I would give that quick little point to your show.
Well, I'll stay with us there for a second, Eric, but I'm glad you brought that up. Now, I'm just going to get your thoughts on it. What do you think caused the collapse of Sears?
I've never even put much thought into it. I would have to say, I don't know. It's fair enough to say I don't know what caused the collapse of them. Maybe it wasn't a trending thing anymore,
Yeah, well, the reason why I bring it up, there's been numerous companies that have gone out of business that I can think of. JM Fields, WT Grant, FW Woolworth. There's been a number of companies, and they all went out. Kmart went out.
Kmart too.
Yeah.
Kmart's basically gone.
Yeah, so, I've done some studying on this, and there are stages of a business collapse. And I've mentioned on a program here numerous times about the 5 stages of a business collapse. And I've been mentioning now for the last couple of years, really, about the Watchtowers entered these 5 stages of a business collapse. Now, just to get cut to the chase, so to speak, well, what really doomed these companies is they didn't change fast enough. Now, Watchtower rested on their laurels. We got people coming in and they're going to stay with us. There's nowhere for them to go. Where they're going to go if they leave the Watchtower. And they always premise themselves on that people will stay with us. Not so fast. And they didn't move quick enough. They could condemn the televangelists, and the people went to the TV streaming on church services and what have you, but they were the last to really do it. They should have moved quicker. Now they're trying to take off a big.
That's a great point, Rick.
Yeah, they should have really done
That's
it.
a great point because it took them 100 years to figure out that beards wasn't biblical.
Yeah. Well, yeah, they did. They did.
Freaking years to figure out. Oh yeah, hey, you know what? Why are we doing this?
Yeah. Well, that's my thoughts on it.
The chariot's moving, Rick. It's moving. It's headed. It's headed in all directions. I don't know. The guy driving the chariot must be drunk, right, Rick?
Well, they had to. They always would condemn the televangelists. We don't do business that way. We don't go on TV. We don't do it the way that Christendom does it. Well, they should have been doing it years ago. They should have been the first. I mean, stop and think about it. Back in the 1940s, they actually had a radio station. They should have been the first with this televangelizing, yeah. But they missed the boat. And now they're trying to catch up on it, and it might be just too late, you know? Interesting.
I think you're right, Rick. I never really realized that, but you're right. They have not adapted to the times at all whatsoever. They've gotten away with murder, literally, for so long that these governing body members, like, oh, this isn't working? Well, we'll change it. They're acting like typical men that want to change the problems, but they're not really diving into their problems. And at this point, I think you can agree with me that Watchtower is unfixable. You can't, because if they got rid of the disfellowshipping arrangement, there would be hell. It would be absolute hell if they changed the disfellowshipping arrangement, and they must know that. They can maybe make it a little kinder and lighter, but there's no way to get rid of it altogether. And that's one of their biggest problems. It's shunning and the two-witness rule.
Right.
It's just amazing that beards became an issue over the two-witness rule.
Yeah. Well, I like what I said earlier. A new book by the Watchtower. Millions now living will never shave. You know, and there will be millions now living that will never shave. But no, that's interesting.
I left a voicemail to my father, and I said that exact thing to him. I know he had to have gotten the voicemail, but I said, just with the voice, millions living now will never shave. And I hope you got it, Martin Kubler.
Yeah.
Because he was an elder, he got his balls busted for having a beard. Just for having a shadow, I should say, not a beard. If he both of us, I remember, and you're a little older than me, Rick. Let's ask the audience if they can remember. Do you remember when chops used to be banned? You couldn't have sideburns at a certain length. If my little sideburns got too long, all us teenagers, when I had pork chops at one point. I liked it. I thought it was cool. And my father's like, you can't have that. It just shows they micromanage us so much. I even know a guy who had a soul patch, and he's quarter black, right? And he told us the Kobe, I'm black, and he's like, you're not black. Shave the soul patch.
Oh, that's crazy.
Oh well, Rick. I feel like I'm rambling now, but you got a good show tonight, buddy.
Well, thank you very much. So we've got big changes taking place in the Watchtower. Like I said earlier, perhaps they do have, I believe it, that they have a PR firm that they actually hired to help them to make these changes. Dick, what do you want to say?
Yeah, hi, Rick. This is Constance. I was going to say, what's interesting is in the San Francisco Bay Area, you did have Sears, and you also had a company called Montgomery Ward's that had been around, for a very, very long time. And that folded up like Sears did. What I was going to say, Rick, is, you have people like Jeff Bezos today who owns Amazon. He's got a real keen mind for commerce. And he's a billionaire, and he also has taken over Whole Foods as well. And his agenda in the world of commerce is to actually just sort of take over everything involved in selling and sales. And what I was going to say in terms of it is that what makes Amazon such an incredible company, number one, are the customer service skills. And, when you serve your customers and you put them first, people really appreciate that. Or you have a problem with the return, no problem. The customer's always right. You just return the product or the merchandise, and you are able to get what you want. And that's what really makes a company excel, or the customer service skills, which is really lacking in a lot of companies today, Rick. But I was going to say, I know Watchtower is watching all of these people like Jeff Bezos and so forth. And, just think about how that relates to Watchtower. Well, there's many times the brothers and sisters are sending in letters to Watchtower asking about this issue or that issue, or they have a question on this, or they need clarification with that. And there are many times Watchtower just does not really answer their question. Yeah, they don't answer their question. And so, Watchtower has to do something to really keep up with the tides. And, you have Daystar, you have Christian Network Television, and Watchtower wants that whole entire market. They sure do. So that's what they're really focusing on. And I have a question for you, Rick. I know they want the big studio in Ramapo, upstate New York, but don't they also in the meantime have like a temporary smaller facility in Long Island out there somewhere?
Yeah, that facility in Long Island is, they bought the old Geico insurance building, and they are using it as some type of control center, you could say, but they also are building an assembly hall there as well. But to my knowledge, they're not doing any video or audio production there, no.
Okay. Well, thank you, Rick. It's a great show tonight. We're really enjoying it. Thank you very much.
Well, you're very welcome. Always good to hear from Constance and Dick. Okay, we have got 603. Run with us. Go ahead, 603.
Hi, this is Tom. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can, Tom. Go ahead.
Great. I just wanted to comment on the lack of baptisms and stuff, and the fact that some people are actually getting baptized in horse troughs. That's quite interesting. That's all. It really has gone down, and I think that's great.
Well, the more it goes down, the better we feel, right, Tom?
Definitely.
Thank you.
Can you imagine being baptized in a horse trough?
No, I can't imagine that, but I have seen that. I've seen pictures of it where people are being baptized in that. Yeah. Any ways to get them dunked, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Good.
Okay, that's all. I just wanted to bring that up, and it was part of what you were talking about earlier. So.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate
Have a
that.
good night.
Thank you, Tom. Thanks for checking in with us here in the Six Screens. I have to tell you that things are moving in the right direction. We have Anonymous. Does Anonymous want to come on with us? Go ahead, Anonymous. You're on with us. Go ahead, speak up. You're on.
Hi, this is Grace from Sweden.
Okay, let's go to the lady first. Is this Grace?
Yes, Grace from Sweden.
Yeah.
Oh, you have been talking about this for many years, that they have laid the foundation for this, because they always said, well, you should obey even if it isn't logical from a human standpoint. So they have been talking about this for years, so we knew that changes were coming up. But still, you get a little surprised when they come. And you were talking about the merging that's happened in my city. They sold off a big Kingdom Hall where they used to have big conventions here. They built a new Kingdom Hall here that was smaller. It was finished around November 2022. But there was another thing I was thinking of also. And that's they actually took a vote that they have the meetings 2:00 now. One of the congregation have 2:00 on Sunday and the other have 5:00. But I have never seen this. I've been like in my city I have never seen this 2:00 thing. Maybe you have seen it, but we haven't seen it. And there was another thing I was thinking about, these dress pants for ladies, because this week in my city, I know you have Fahrenheit, we have Celsius, but to not confuse you, this week we had twice as cold as in a freezer. And you can't really tell a lady to go in service when it's that cold. So I think actually this dress pants, it's coming up soon. So I guess that's all from me. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Grace. Always good to hear from you, Grace. Thank you very much. Okay, we have got Anonymous. Go ahead, Anonymous.
Yeah, hi, Rick.
Hi.
Yeah, it's nice to talk to you. I don't know if this has been brought up, but I apologise in advance if it has. But one of the things that stood out to me, well, in recent months, that is that the way the branch are announcing to the congregations these different changes that are coming along. So, for example, we've just had the change with regards to the beards, and then we had the change with the hour requirements. Now, normally in the past, that would have been through the elder arrangement. So years ago, it used to be that a letter would come in the congregation to the congregation via the literature, and then the PO or the coordinator would read that letter. It would be read before the body of elders, and then it would be read out to the congregation, whatever announcement the branch wanted the congregation to know. But it seems to me at the moment that the body of elders have been sidestepped, that they've actually been, they're taking the responsibility, that is, the governing body, to tell the worldwide brotherhood directly what they want them to know. And I think that's quite significant, that they're watering down the authority that the body of elders once had within the congregations. And I think what they're doing slowly, they're taking back responsibility, taking away the power, if you like, from the elders, and taking that more in-house back into Bethel or under their control. And I think that is to minimize some of the issues that they've been having, where you have elders that maybe have not followed direction properly, and has led to a lot of the problems that the branch are having to deal with. Now, coming to the disfellowshipping idea, I'm wondering whether that will come under the direction of Bethel. So if a congregation, for example, have an issue with a particular brother, they would have to apply to the branch in order to get permission to disfellowship him. In other words, they'd have to present the evidence. And I think that would reduce down over time the number of disfellowshippings that perhaps take place. I don't know, this is just me thinking out loud, but I think it's quite significant that the elders would normally have made those announcements directly to the congregation, and that has been taken away from them. There was no rhyme or reason for it. They would normally have done it, but that's the way it seems to be done now, that the governing body will be doing these from now on.
Well, I appreciate your insight on that. I never thought of that. But no, what you're saying there, it resonates truthfulness. I believe that could be the case. They are power mongers. The more power they can get, the better. If they can sidestep anybody, they'll do it in a heartbeat. They want all the attention. Although, thank you, brother. That's a darn good analogy. I appreciate you. Thank you for calling in. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
All right, 614. You run with us, 614. Go ahead.
Hey, Rick. This is Michael. How you doing, bud?
I'm doing good, Michael. Thank you.
I just want to like think tank with you for a second, okay?
Sure.
When you went to the door to door, what was your message when you went there? What was your goal? What was you trying to do?
Well, there's no doubt about it. I mean, the message that I went to do it, well, I wanted people to know that, I'd start off with a negative, like, boy, did you hear about that crime last week right in the city next to us where 2 people got killed? Boy, isn't it a wicked, wicked world? Well, it's going to get better. Jesus came to power in 1914, and his kingdom is already existing. That was my message, yes.
Okay, so then how, I would say, how would I get into that kingdom? What would be your answer then?
Well, in order to get into the kingdom, you didn't want to come right out and tell the householder that they had to be one of Jehovah's Witnesses, but you kind of Mirandaed around that. You would tell them that that they have to look to the Bible to get information that could give them everlasting life.
So and that's my point. That's my point of calling today, because why are the Jehovah's Witnesses failing? It's because they don't have a message they could bring to the people. Their message is to, hey, come into this organization. This changes constantly, and what is said 50 years ago might not be right 50 years from now. But we want you into this organization, and that's how you get to God. That's how you get into that kingdom. Well, everybody I know right now knows that is completely crazy. And that the only way, and there's enough preachers out here, and there's enough people reading the Bible out here right now, and there's enough people being educated in Scripture that they know that Jesus is the way. Now, if a Jehovah's Witness came on the radio to say he wanted to get on TV, a Jehovah's Witness will be killed. I mean, and I don't mean literally. I mean, they would ram the doctrine right down their throat. I had witnesses come on my radio show, and I would beg for them to come on, because I would love to preach to them. And they just don't have the message. They don't have anything to offer. There's nothing there. It's a gun with no bullets in it. And that's why they're failing. That's why they're going to fail. People come to the organization. They don't come to the love of Jesus Christ. And the only way to get to the Father and get to that kingdom that you preached about and knocked on the door, the only way to get to that, Rick, is through Jesus.
Well, amen to that, brother. Well, thank you, Michael. Thank you for your insight. My goodness gracious. I always love to hear from you. Now, don't you be a stranger. You come back and see us, okay?
All right. Thank you, Rick.
Yeah, you got me thinking anyways, Michael. The message, the message of doom. In fact, let's roll the clocks back 50 years ago. Let's go back to the Watchtower, 1972, October 1st. I'll even give you the page 607. But in 1972 Watchtower, it says that soon those who worship Jehovah are going to experience good things, and they will not be destroyed. But then it goes on to say in the article that if you're not worshiping Jehovah, then you will die when God brings about Armageddon. That is a pretty powerful message. We used to preach that too, but I always, like I was just telling Michael, I would refrain from, because it used to bother me. You're going door to door and you're knocking on doors all over the neighborhood, and you have a nice family, the husband, the wife, and they got a couple of nice little kids. Excuse me. How, in goodness name's sake, are you going to tell that husband and wife and those little kids that they're holding on to, precious little kids, that you have to become a Jehovah's Witness or you're going to die at Armageddon? That always bothered me. That never settled right with me. I don't know if it settled right with you, but going door to door, that did bother me. I'm saying, these are nice people. God's going to kill them. Jehovah God is going to kill that man, his wife, and his two little children because they don't accept the message I'm bringing them. But, maybe some witnesses really took it to heart, but I never really saw it that way. Did you, Michael? Did you see it that way?
So I thought the same way you did. I didn't like that message at all. In fact, the elder friend that I have, I still talk to, his son heard that message at a Kingdom Hall. And his son, he walked out of the hall and went to the outside. And my elder friend went out, asked him what was wrong, and he was crying. And he said, Dad, I just can't believe this message anymore. I can't believe it. And my older friend is a third generation Jehovah's Witness. His family was all in the witness work. And he doesn't have one child that's a witness right now. And I found that amazing. And I agree with you, Rick. I think it's because a lot of it is because of that message, because I can't get my friend who I've known like all my life, and we went through all kinds of things together. I can't get him to admit that I'm a good person and deserve to be into the kingdom because I accept Jesus Christ in my life. I'm not one of him. You know what I mean? I'm not one of them. And I consider Mark my spiritual brother. I mean, he believes in Jesus. I accept that as a Christian. But if I say I believe in Jesus to a witness, that's not good enough.
Yeah.
There has to be there has to be a whole nother realm of of indoctrination to get to that point to where they think that you could be into the kingdom. And I went through this with my mother too. Boy, I tell you, I actually gave up, quit talking to my mother. I just talked all the time, just couldn't get the message through her about Jesus, that we needed that ransom sacrifice between Jehovah God, because we live in sin. And the only way that we can get rid of that sin is through Jesus Christ. And then it helps us to have a relationship and be acceptable.
Well, there's a message, Mike, that we never shared with the people at the door. We never really got into that. I mean, because they're not Christian people. But thank you, Mike. Thank you very much for sharing your thoughts with us tonight. We appreciate it. Yeah, this is something that fascinates me to the nth degree. How is it that a cult that has made so many false predictions still believe that they still believe? Whoop, we got something going on here. Let me stop that.
To start conference recording, press 1. To return to the conference, press star.
Hold on 1 second. All right, let me see what happened there. I'm not sure what happened. All right. Okay, let's see what happened there. I'm not sure. Okay, let me just make sure we get different messages. JP, do you want to say something? Go ahead. You're on with us.
Hi, Rick. This is Jerry.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say, as we're approaching, or we're now in 110 years since the last days began. Do you think that they'll finally change to the correct date of destruction of Jerusalem being the beginning of the siege in 587 to the complete destruction in 586? I mean, it would make sense because it would buy them another 20 years. And then also, they're unable to get around it now because people can get that information very easily now. I mean, they can change their policies, they can change their doctrines, but they can't change history. So I think that might be something that eventually they're going to be forced to change no matter what. What do you think, Rick?
Well, JP, that's an excellent thought. I think they would. I really think they would. I mean, if they could change the thought of men now having beards, if they could now say you don't have to report time, that's not a biggie. I mean, but the Watchtower doesn't like to say they were wrong. And any time that they change something, they never really admit that, okay, we were wrong and we're sorry. They never would say that. But they'll come up with some cockamamie excuse on changing it. I don't know. I can't think for them, but they might say that, now that we understand history more and now that we have more information about historical events, we now go along with the way the world thinks and change the date on that. That's a possibility. Thank you, JP. That's I never thought of that, but I would say yes, they'll change it. Yeah, anything to keep people in.
Well, it would buy them another 20 years, but that would end up in the year 1934. So what could they come up with from 1934, to say, oh, this was some kind of a reason why actually Christ began his reign in 1934? Well, the only thing I could think that was very historical during the society's history was in, I think, 1935. That's when they came up with a earthly class, Rutherford, which is a major thing that they hold up to this day. So maybe they can come up with some kind of a thing saying that, it was actually Christ, because of that convention, that they realized that there was a earthly hope. Maybe they can change it to that date or something. I don't really know, but they have to eventually change it, I think, no matter what.
They're going to have to change a lot of things, JP, but no, that's a good thought. I never thought of that one, but they'll be changing it. I really believe they will be, yes. Good thinking. Good thinking. They'll change a lot of things. They want to keep people in. If they have a PR department that they hired, the PR department's going to tell them, look, at all costs, whatever it takes, if you guys have made mistakes in the past and you're eating your words now, change it. Do it fast. Get this out there so people can hang in with you, because if they got to stop the hemorrhage. Thank you, JP.
Yeah, because they also changed the date too. Remember, from 1874 to 1914 when Christ reigned, so they could easily change it again.
Absolutely. No, I don't.
But
I don't put it past them one bit.
that was my only thought for the moment. But thank you, Rick. I hope you're feeling better, and your wife as well.
Well, thank you very much, JP. No, doing good. I'm feeling really good right now. Thank you very much. So, what I was saying is the thing that really fascinates me. How is it that a cult that has made such false predictions, so many false predictions, still believe they are in a position to judge? How can a judge who has done nothing but lie, done nothing but fabricate the truth, make some type of a judgment? And this is what really fascinates me when you think about the Watchtower. Now, I know when I was one of Jehovah's Witnesses that, you had to become one of Jehovah's Witnesses because the ark of the door was closed. You cannot come and be one of Jehovah's Witnesses after that ark door is closed. Now, as of late, as we know, they now say that no, the door isn't closed now. Now you can repent and come back to Jehovah, and the ark of the door is open. That is absolutely crazy stuff. So this new light means you can wait and see if Noah was right, or you can wait and see if the Watchtower was right. And then when you think, well, they were right, boy, I see false religion collapsing. I see world war all over the world. I see unrest. I'm gonna get back into the organization. So they're doing everything they can to get people to come back to Jehovah. Unbelievable. Well, I'm glad you're with us. You're on JW World News, the Watchtower doesn't want us talking about. Dick, do you want to talk about it? You're on with us.
Hi, Rick. It's Constance again. I was just thinking about this. They're loosening the beards and other issues as well. What I was thinking of is they have such tight constraints on education. And it's not a doctrinal issue, but Watchtower is, very tyrannical and oppressive when it comes to higher education. Well, Rick, we know very well you followed the money trail and Watchtower is there. So if Watchtower wants more money from its congregants, which it's been begging for years and years now, allow the congregants to be able to get a higher education and a better, well-paying job, and then there'll be more money coming into the organization. It's just a suggestion, but they have set such tight rules on everybody that many of the brothers and sisters are in low-income jobs and poverty level. So, but Watchtower might consider that since it has a great advantage, with their coffers.
Well, good comment. Very good comment. Always good to hear from you, Constance. Thank you very much. Thank you. Yeah, go ahead.
Just let me jump on. One thing they could do away with is letting the congregations know that they vote. If the Holy Spirit directs the organization, then they don't have to vote on something. The governing body, they vote. The writing staff of the Jehovah's Witnesses, they vote. When there's a judicial committee meeting, they vote. So there's different attitudes and different philosophies, and that's why they vote. If the Holy Spirit was running that organization, they wouldn't be voting at all. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Dick. Thank you very much. Yeah, so go ahead. We've got 720. Come on. I think that's Dan. Yep.
Yeah, I was just listening in, Rick. It's so interesting. I think I would have chose anything else if I was governing body other than beards. And the reason for it is it would be easy, like Constance said, let them go to school. Yeah, you know what I mean? Let them vote. But a beard was like a staple for witnesses. People said they could see a witness from a mile away. They didn't have a beard. They just had a certain look to them. So really, I mean, Watchtower, in a way, I know this sounds crazy. I mean, they've changed the face of witnesses. I mean, it's kind of a joke, but they've changed the face of witnesses. I mean,
if I'm going to go by the Kingdom Hall tomorrow and I'm going to take some pictures, I want to see people walking in beards, because it's not going to look like the same. It's like they changed the whole thing. The beard changed the whole thing. You could have changed the education. Like Constance said, it wasn't a biblical thing, whether you had a little more education or not. There's other things they could have changed, but the beard thing, when you drive by a Kingdom Hall, I was thinking about this, Rick. What happens if you went to the door with a big beard now, right? And you knocked on the door and you said, I'm one of Jehovah's Witnesses. They probably wouldn't believe you. They would say, no, witnesses don't have beards. So they've like shot themselves in the foot as far as the preaching work. And then the other thing is, what would you tell somebody, Rick, if you went to the door and you had a beard and somebody said, how come you have beards? I mean, it's funny, but what would you say to them? What the hell would you say? They told us we could. I mean, I laugh every time I say it. I told a lady the other day in Scottsdale, I said, well, the witnesses can have beards now. And she started laughing. She said, what are you talking about? I said, they can have a beard. Who said they couldn't? And I said, well, the society. She says, well, who's the society? And I said, oh, it's a long story, but she could not stop laughing. And every time I hear it, I laugh. So I want to go. I mean, this would be a skit and a comedian act. They told us we could. They told us we could. That's what we've said our whole life. They told us we could. Watchtower said, governing body said, the elders said, the governing body said. But it would be so kooky, I think, if I had a beard and I went to the door and somebody said, well, how come you have beards now? What happened? Could you imagine trying to explain that, Rick? My God.
Well, Dan, how do you make sense out of nonsense? Really, and then that's what it is. If anyone listening in tonight is still a Jehovah's Witness, stay with us. Just listen to what these people are saying. Listen to what Dan just said. That's not sensible. How would you explain yourself? It's almost like a joke,
I keep laughing, Rick, but I just can't wait to go by the Kingdom Hall tomorrow and put my phone on video and to watch these people walking in like we're so happy. I even want to interview them. I want to say, what's it feel like now that governing body said you can have a beard? What's it feel like? What's the experience? Is it exciting for you? It's like really a big joke, and it's weird, Rick. It's sad. Honestly, you feel like I feel like this. I feel like it's making a mockery out of them. I really do. I feel like, that they went all that long. They were special. They were different. The not having a beard really made them different. That was a big mark of them. And now to watch 20 of them go in the Kingdom Hall with beards and shadows and, handlebar mustaches, and it's going to be like, what the hell happened in there? Did they all go crazy? I mean, I'm sorry. I've been laughing ever since I heard it, but I would be embarrassed. I wouldn't know what to say to anybody. I would never say, well, you don't understand, but we have people on top that make all the rules, and they've now told us it's okay. And then so people would be like, so how long have you not had a beard? Well, it's been probably 60, 80 years. You mean they just now? It would be a laugh. I tell you, I feel sorry for him. It's going to be a comedian act in a show. I know it is. But I just don't know why they would do that. I don't know why they would choose beards over like education or something a little bit more subtle, more practical. It's like, my God.
Well, Dan, have you thought of even another ramification here that could happen? Now you have a husband and wife Jehovah's Witness couple, both staunch witnesses. So now the husband wants to grow a beard. So now his wife says, geez, you're going to grow a beard just because they said you can do it? Yeah, I've always wanted one. So now, can you imagine some of well, the wife's going to say, well,
he gets in bed and she goes, get the hell away from me with that thing. You know what I mean? I'm not saying nothing bad about it, but she would say, get the hell, some women don't like beards.
No, they don't.
Get that thing away from me. I mean, but could you imagine the ones that have been waiting all that time? And could you imagine you go in the hall and your presiding overseer's got a beard and you go, what the hell? Oh my God. It's going to be a freak show. And I am going to go out and record tomorrow. There's 2 Kingdom Halls by me. I got to see for myself. I can't believe they would go along with it. I would believe that they would say, no, this is too much. It's got to be nothing left, Rick. Me and Angela were talking about, there's got to be nothing left. It's got to be gone. Just, running them out. And like somebody said earlier, I think it was a lady from Australia somewhere, but Sydney, she said, they've already told them. They've already told them. You said that before. They tell them before they tell them. But I think it's interesting how they do it, Rick. They tell them, and then it doesn't seem like nothing happens. So there's this question in their mind. I wonder when governing body's going to tell us what to do, that we're going to have to go along with. And then wham, no hours. Wham, no, already pre-programmed them, already set it in their mind, conditioned them, let the seed implant, and that now they're just going to, I agree with you, Rick. It's going to be nonstop now. And I even believe the blood's going to change. I really do.
Oh, we're going to hear so much. Well, Dan, I always love to hear from you. The audience loves to hear from you as well. Thank you very much.
I love them all too. Love all you guys.
Well, thank
Angela
you.
too.
Hi, Rick.
Hi, Angela. Good. It's good to hear from you. Always good to hear from a hardworking woman. Thank you. All right. We've got. Hi. We've got 714. Did you want to say something? Go ahead.
Oh, hi.
Yeah.
Yes. Hi, Rick. It's Nadine. I wanted to catch Dan really quick. I just wanted to let him know that I did go to the Kingdom Hall last Sunday. It's only a few blocks from where I live. And I waited outside in my car, and there was about 4 guys that came out that had beards.
Oh my God.
And I took a picture of one of the guys. Well, it's from in my car. I did, and I sent it to my friend, who she's just finally awake now, but she's kind of scared really to say too much because her dad's an elder. But I sent it to her. And then some of the guys have like a shadow where, it's just growing. It's just starting. It looks like dirt on their face, but there might have been like 2 or 3 of those guys. And then there were like 4 guys with beards. So I just wanted to let Dan know that I wanted to go down to the Kingdom Hall. And so I did, and it was quite interesting. And I couldn't believe it. I mean, I told my friend, I go, oh my God, because she was on the phone with me. I can't believe I'm seeing a beard. Like, I was shocked. You know what I mean? It's so dumb, but it's because of how I was brought up. And so when I see the beard, I'm even shocked, even though it's so dumb because a lot of guys have beards, everywhere. But it's only because of this religion, that I was surprised.
I'm still going to do it. I'm still going down.
Yeah, no, go. I think you should. You have to see it for yourself. But I was a little scared to get out of the car to go up to the guy, but he kind of kept looking at me. Then there was another guy, really handsome guy, but he was married. And I'd never seen him before. I don't know. He had a beard, and I was looking at him, and he was looking at me like, what are you looking at? Like, I think he knew I was looking at his beard. And but anyways, it was really, even I got surprised, like I was really shocked. Do you know what I mean? Like, it was shocking to see.
Well, Nadine, you just said something that got me thinking. That man looked you back, and it was like almost like, what are you looking at? That is going to be the feeling of a bunch of Jehovah's Witness men. They're going to feel very self-conscious. They haven't had a beard for, ever. And now all of a sudden they're wearing a beard. That's how I would feel. I would be walking around thinking people were looking at me, It's
I know. Well, that's what I was doing. I was looking at all the guys that came out of the Kingdom Hall. And it was just like, wow. I was really surprised.
Freak show. It's going to be a freak show, man. I got to see it my damn self.
You kind of know what I mean, like how I was surprised, where I'm not surprised when I just on my daily life and I see a guy with a beard. But at the Kingdom Hall, it was shocking. That's how I could explain it. Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah.
Well, Nadine, thank you for sharing that story with us. Now, I'm waiting for next week to hear what Dan has to say. Maybe you can get some pictures. But
yeah. Oh, I know, Rick. I will email you the picture of the brother with the beard.
Yeah,
I took it.
Did you take it?
Right it through my car. I did. I took the picture. I took a picture of one of the guys. And he didn't even know I did it, this one guy, because he didn't look. But the other guy was staring at me. But I didn't take a picture of him. But I'll email you the picture of the guy with the beard.
Good, do that.
What are they going to do? Run you down if you take a picture of them? Are they going to chase you down?
No, he didn't.
Really. I mean, they may run you down, but I want to interview one. I want to interview one. I want to say, what's it like? What's it, just like Barbara Walters or something, what's it like?
I know, that would be great.
After 8 years.
I know. See, now, if I did it, I don't know, I might be kind of a little nervous unless somebody was with me, because I don't know what they would do or say, or I don't know. I don't think anybody would hurt me, but you know what I mean? I just don't know. But you being a man, it would be different. Like, you could get away with doing that, I think.
We'll see.
Well, I wonder, Nadine. I really do wonder how many people have been showing up at the Kingdom Hall just to be on beard watch. I mean, really, it's probably bigger. It's probably bigger than we think. You'd really want to see this. Now these guys now these men that you've seen with the beards. Now, it's only been since December 15th. It usually takes, a month or so to really get a good beard going. With these pretty good, solid beards, they're just kind of coming in.
No, this guy I took a picture of had a pretty good beard, a pretty good size one. Yeah.
Wow.
And I was on the phone with my friend, so it was like I was reporting to her. And then when a guy would come out, I'd go, oh my God, So it was really kind of fun. And she's like, oh no, I wish I could be there. I wish I could be there with you. I want to see it. So, but yeah. And her dad is the elder that said that he counted 12 beards in his congregation, which is down in Carlsbad, which is in near San Diego, California. And there were 12 guys in his congregation. And he even said it from the platform. He counted all the guys in the audience. And he counted 12 guys that had beards, and he said it, and he's like, sarcastically a little bit, because I don't think he approves of it. So it's very interesting.
Could we have a contest, Rick? You pay $20 to who can count the most beards and prove it by picture.
Oh my God, I would love that, because I'm really competitive.
I'll tell you what. In fact, you got me thinking here, Dan. I'm gonna have a really nice prize. I mean, a really nice prize. I want you to send me pictures of Jehovah's Witness men with a beard. Send it to JW World News, and we'll review it for the next month. And whoever sends me the most pictures of men with a beard, I'll have a very good prize for them. Okay?
I'm gonna send you one.
Okay.
As soon as I get off the phone.
I'm
gonna send you.
All right. In fact, I'll try to even put it up here tonight before the night's over. Thank you, Nadine.
Oh, good.
No fair. She got a head start.
Okay.
She got a head start.
Yeah, I think I might. Maybe if I'm around, I might go. I think they get out at 3:30. If I'm around, because it's only like 2 blocks from where I live, I'm gonna try to go back if I'm here at that time. I'm going to go back to the Kingdom Hall.
I'll keep the pictures
but
coming.
I'm sitting in my car. Like I am not going into the Kingdom Hall.
Keep the pictures
Because I think I know a few people, and they might go, "Hey, Nadine, hi," but I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
I'll be outside the Kingdom Hall.
Beard watch. Well, send me pictures. Send me pictures with Jehovah's Witness men with a beard. And maybe we can we will give a prize. We will give a prize. So
awesome.
Looking forward to that. Thank you.
I'll send it right now.
All right.
I'll send it right now.
No, send it right now.
Okay, bye, Dan. Bye, Angela.
Thank you.
Bye.
All right. Bye. Well, isn't that something?
I can't wait to see.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see who gets the biggest beard picture, guys. Okay, I'm going to send one right now to Rick.
Right. I'll try to get that up and show it here tonight on YouTube so people can see it. Thank you, Nadine.
All right.
Wow,
okay,
my goodness, that's Nadine. Isn't it good to hear from Nadine? Don't you love Nadine? She always wants to share good things with us. Thank you, Nadine. All right, you're on JW World News. My goodness, that's the news the Watchtower doesn't want us talking about. But we do it every Saturday night and every other Sunday right here on the 6 Screens Tele Network, as we say. I don't know if you caught this or not this week, But I'd say the biggest story this week all over the internet had to do with the update on Spain's ruling. Now, just to bring you up to speed, in Spain, there were a number of ex-Jehovah's Witnesses that really had a bone to pick with the Watchtower. And it all started on Facebook WhatsApp. Now, friends, I want to let you know something. Little movements can get really big because of the social networks. So in Spain, you had some ex-Jehovah's Witnesses that started talking on WhatsApp, and they started talking about their trek in the Watchtower and how bad it was, how evil it was. And even some of them would, they had such horrendous stories that many would break out crying and sharing stories with one another. So what came out of that WhatsApp conversation on Facebook was that these ex-witnesses in Spain started a little organization, and the little organization grew. It grew to the point that they organized, and a man by the name of Israel Flores, he became like the head of the organization. And he was a well-spoken person and able to really communicate well to the government. And he went to the government and told the government in Spain that, hey, listen, the Jehovah's Witnesses are creating a lot of problems in people's lives. And we really have to get you to listen to some of these victims and how bad Jehovah's Witnesses are treated and how they are treated when they leave the organization. So the organization got very upset with Israel Flores and this little organization. They sued the Watchtower. I don't know what they were thinking. They actually sued Israel Flores and his organization for exposing them. I mean, I don't know on what grounds they would be able to pull this off, but they didn't want Spain to rule in favor of this little group. They were trying to tell the Spanish government, that is the Watchtower, that no, don't listen to these people. But anyways, they endured, and Israel Flores was vindicated, and the government of Spain kind of went along, not kind of, but went along with their ruling that the Jehovah's Witnesses are indeed dangerous and create so many problems. But I'm going to play a little clip. Listen in here as I play this. Let me share it. I think you'll find it very, very fascinating. So let's share it right now. Let me play the clip. This is Israel Flores. When you see the video, he is the man to the far right on your video screen. He's the head of this little ex-witness organization that's exposing the witnesses in Spain. So listen in.
That the officially registered religious organization of Jehovah's Witnesses projects. This image that they project is totally false. Should you become a member of the organization and then change your mind, perhaps you don't like something about them and you want to leave. This is what always happens when you start to disagree. What we've experienced when we left has been very damaging, clearly. So, those of us who have come out have every reason in the world to call ourselves victims. On many occasions, I have stated that they are in fact in violation of the law. It is clear that they do not let a member enjoy the freedom to join another religion. For example, this should be something that is indisputably permissible, but it's not allowed. They won't let you leave, and they won't leave you alone. They show this by their internal rules, written rules, as well as in their videos. They have shown us how we are to be treated. And that treatment is very harmful, very, very painful. So we were chatting in the WhatsApp group about this issue, and someone came up with the bright idea that if we formed an association, then we could be heard by society at large. While society can be reached in many ways, forming an association opens certain doors to be able to reach the ones we really want to reach. We're talking about official doors, officials who can help regulate their
All right, we'll stop right there. So, give you an idea. That's Israel Flores. He is he started this organization of ex-Jehovah's Witnesses in Spain. And boy, I will tell you, they got the attention of the government. And the thing that really stood out to me was that even when they presented their argument, when all these ex-witnesses went to the government and explained to them how difficult it was being one of Jehovah's Witnesses and the mind control and what the witnesses do to you, all of the people shed a tear that were listening, the people in the court, including even the judge. So, all of a sudden, Spain now is coming down on the witnesses, as well as a number of other countries. Now, isn't this wonderful? I say every week we have got governments coming down on the Watchtower. The news is getting out how evil this organization is. We have Spain, we have Norway, we have Belgium, we have Sweden, we have the United Kingdom, we have numerous other countries as well that are now realizing. Japan is another country that really is now understanding how evil the Jehovah's Witness organization is. So thank you, Israel, for at least going to the government in Spain. Now, this is a very articulate man. He got the job done. And maybe one of these nights we can get Israel on here on the program with us, because, I mean, this man really made a great impression on the Spanish government. It was a great interview. And I believe the Watchtower has got to, I don't know what they were thinking. So they wanted to sue Israel Flores and his organization for exposing them in Spain. What, in goodness name's sake, were they thinking? This is not a normal thing. This is not a normal thing. It's not normal for a religious organization to sue its ex-members. It's not normal at all. In fact, it's abnormal. As a matter of fact, I can think of some examples here. Nobody really does this, but the screwball Jehovah's Witnesses and their buffoon governing body members, that they want to go and sue and then bring more attention. That's all you're doing, is bring more attention. What is the governing body thinking? Now, I think of the Catholic Church as an example. They've had multiple lawsuits, child abuse lawsuits, and they had so many people coming against them, but they never sued anybody. I checked that out. I did a little research. They're not on record. The Catholic Church has never sued anybody because they spoke up against the church. But here we have the witnesses that are speaking up and telling Spain, not to really listen to these people because they're descendants. I mean, I think the governing body, are they stupid or what? I can't believe that the governing body would actually try to, come against and sue the ex-witnesses for bringing this up. But Spain is not buying it. They're not buying it at all. And it's just going to cause more attention to come to the Watchtower. It was fascinating to me to learn about this. So many countries. I think it's fantastic that so many countries are now coming down on the Watchtower organization. Well, my goodness, I'm glad you're with us tonight. We've got a lot of people listening in. We're glad you're with us. You're on JW World News, and we've been doing it now for a number of years. Go ahead, you're on with us, Dan. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, it's interesting, that point you made. They're becoming like scrappers. I mean, usually heads of corporations don't fight with the ordinary people, but to drop down to that level, I mean, they must be getting pretty desperate to go that low, to go to the ordinary guy that takes a stand to them, or an apostate or something like that. It's better off, like you said, ignoring them. But here's the other thing, Rick. Along with sin comes stupidity. And what I was thinking as you were talking was, Watchtower has had time to change. Even in 75, they refused to change. Even when we all came out and said, these guys think they're God. They said that, they were placed in their relative position by Jehovah and they're the mediator. They didn't change that. They said, I mean, they did. They said it to the people and through the Watchtower, but through the congregation, they said, you better listen to us like your life depends on it, because it does. But what the point I'm making, Rick, instead of coming clean, they've had opportunity after opportunity. We know God, 77 times 7. Come on, turn around. And I think Watchtower, and maybe nobody thinks they could have ever turned around, but I've always thought, I know God's like that. And I thought, they've refused to turn around. They've dug their heels in. They said, we're not turning around. We're not changing our policy on blood. We're not changing our disfellowshipping policy. And we're going to be, by God, we're going to be the drunk harlot that we said everyone else is, because they've got that power, they got money, they're huge. And so I just think this is divine judgment now. All these lights coming on. It's like Spain, the lights on them. I just heard Korea too. You'll probably bring that out. I think I heard Kimmy and Mike say something about Korea. They just read a letter that they're selling their stuff and merging. They're all merging right now. But I think it's divine justice, Rick. I really think, maybe there's always a point where maybe an organization can turn around, they can get it right, they can start making better products, they can be committed to excellence, they can do something else. But Watchtower wants to run the same way. They don't want anybody to tell them what to do. Nobody's going to tell them what to do. And now they're downright scrapping, with the ordinary man. I mean, it's getting embarrassing for them now, What do you think, Rick?
Oh, no, I think that you're absolutely right with that. It's, Dan, you're a businessman. I'm a businessman.
Yep.
You certainly, anyone that's sharp of mind would not cause undue attention for something that's negative. And what was the Watchtower thinking by actually suing this ex-witness group? Spain already is upset with the witnesses. They're not buying that they're this wonderful organization. And for them to come back and sue the people that are bringing charges against them, that is stupid. I don't know where
there's no wisdom there. That's what I'm saying. The wisdom's being snatched. Even what they did have is taken away from them. They're getting stupider. And you're right, Rick, in business, you don't even want one bad mark on Google. If somebody Googles you and the last remark said, I got screwed by Dan, I'm out of business. If you go into a restaurant and you say something bad, if somebody treats you bad in a restaurant and you put it on social media, they're out of business. I've seen it happen over and over where people have begged people, will you take that one comment down? It's hurting me. It's hurting my business. And so you're right, to draw attention. And that's what I say, the wisdom, the little bit of wisdom they had, it's just being extracted. It's like this light just keeps permeating this organization and showing them up for what they are. They can't run. They can't hide. They're like rodents that this beam of light is just following them around, and they can't do nothing about it. And they won't repent. They won't turn around. They won't say we've had enough. They just won't stop. And so they're being stopped. People are seeing them for what they are, and the governments are seeing them for what they are, tyrannical. They're even tyrannical against the governments they're in, the ones that are giving them the statuses of the, what do you call it, the organizations that don't pay taxes, They're even, they have tax exempt. They're even going against their own government. They're doing what they said Babylon the Great would do. That Babylon the Great would turn on them and try to destroy them. Well, that's what's happening to Watchtower. The harlot is the Watchtower, and the beast and these governments have turned on Watchtower. That's what's going on. We used to say it was everybody else, but the beast is ripping their asses to shreds. And that's what's going on. And it's because they won't turn. I'm telling you, I know God, we can turn around. It's over. Just turn the other way. You don't have to keep doing what you're doing. Watchtower says, kiss my ass. And that's their attitude. So it's over. It's over. I can tell you, it's going to be dismantled brick upon brick, piece upon piece. It will be leveled.
Well, thank you for saying that, Dan. I love your passion. We love your commitment. And no question, what you're saying is true. And it's a great feeling. All of us here tonight, associating on this little network we have, we're so happy. We're so happy to see the Watchtower tanking. This is an evil organization. And I'm so glad that so many countries are now catching up with these bad people. And, they're seeing is a fact, not as something that hearsay or I heard it through the grapevine. These governments are now seeing as a fact that the Watchtower organization breaks up families. And, just to talk about that for a few minutes here, what is more important to you than your family? I like what Pope John the 23rd said. He said the family is the first essential cell of human society. That is the first essential cell. When you're a little baby, you come into the world and you have your family. That means something to you. You're now part of a human society. And when you stop and think about it, your family is so important to you. Your family helps you get through the most disastrous times and the best of times. I mean, the Watchtower doesn't do that for you. They try to tell you that we're your extended family. Your other family wants nothing to do with Jehovah. Just cut them off. We're now your new family, and we'll take care of you. But no, it contradicts everything that I've read here about families. Families are the pillars of strength, and they never fail us. They keep us strong, and they help us become better people. That's what the family does. The family never fails us. They help us to stay strong. Does the Watchtower do that for us? Absolutely not. They want to destroy our family. The Watchtower is not a pillar for us, but our families are. And what do we learn from our families? We learn values of love, respect, faith, hope. Yes, we learn traditions. And this is something that makes a little family, makes us really enjoy life by having a family. But the Watchtower wants to take and destroy our family. They want us to have nothing to do with people that are not Jehovah's Witnesses. The family is important because they can support us and they can give us security. And that, of course, that security is coupled with unconditional love. Does the Watchtower give us unconditional love? No. The family is so important. Go ahead.
Hey, Rick,
Yeah, go ahead, Dan.
somebody wrote me today and said, Dan, they were like, I can feel your pain and that. And I said, yeah. And the guy said, Dan, we all need justice and we all need closure. And Watchtower is just putting up a fight. And in the old days, Rick, when somebody came over and they threw their hat in the door and they said, hey, man, I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. We screwed up. We did this and this. It's pretty much over, Rick. It's pretty much an apology. But Watchtower, doesn't intend to apologize to anybody. And that's why I think there's all these apostates. I mean, you talk about one bad review, you got hundreds of thousands of bad reviews going every day, just magnifying this like a magnifying glass with the sun, frying this organization because they won't give us closure. They just give us excuses. They keep lying. They keep raging. They keep, condescending, manipulating, twisting. It's like, just come clean. And yes, it's gonna knock you down. It's gonna take a lot away. But I think when if a man walked up to me and looked me in the eye and said, Dan, I'm sorry, I don't care what he did, I'd say, okay, man, all right. It might take me a little while, but the rhetoric would die down. But Watchtower wants a fight. These guys want to fight. And so the people like us who's been out there like, hey, I thought you were going to apologize, not justify. And so we're not stopping until it's over. And somebody said that to me today. He said, Dan, I got to get closure. This thing's got to stop. This thing's got to end. And I said, I hear you, man. And so I think that's why everybody's so passionate, because we can't believe it. We can't believe that these men won't apologize. These men won't stop. And I think we're all like floored, like, okay, all right. You want to keep doing that? Okay, we're going to play. And so it's like that's what's going on, right now. And it's crazy. But I see new guys coming on every day. I saw people on there today. I said, look at these people coming on. They're all excited. Look at the guy today. They're all excited to just talk about it. It's a snowball that can't be stopped. It's a snowball. It's a freight train. It can't be stopped, Rick. It's going down.
Oh, I love the way you sound, Dan. I believe the same thing. And you know what? I'll tell you what. When I stop and think about it, and sit back and give a lot of thought to the Watchtower, perhaps the most heinous thing they do is to break you away from your own family. And I can't really. I mean, look what they did in your life, Dan. Look what they did in your life with your brother and
I
your
never got
mother.
to know my grandmother. My grandmother was the most beautiful person. I know I've mentioned her. She bought my dad a car every couple of years, a brand new car. She was the financial support for my dad, and I couldn't talk to her. She was a pastor in her own church, and I couldn't even walk in the church without my dad knocking me upside the head. I wanted to know what was she about? What did she do? I sat in her living room one time and we talked for 2 hours, and my dad goes, "You were at Grandma's a long time." And I said, "Yeah, we just chatting about what, boy?" And I said, "Well, we're just talking about everything." And did you give her a Watchtower? I never knew my grandmother. She had Bibles and studies, and she studied so much. And a big giver. She just wrote out checks to everybody, gave hundreds of dollars to all the relatives that were all having problems. And she was the most beautiful. I didn't get to know her. And I think, my God. And, Angela was talking to somebody about her family the other day. And some lady says, I think it was Elaine. She says, "I haven't talked to my family in 35 years. And they're 6 miles away." This is destruction. Like you said, Rick, the family. I mean, nobody really try. You can do whatever you want. You can do bad. And your family will always open the door and say, "Well, come on in, get a bed. I know you're having a problem." The world won't do that. So if they cut you off from your family, they've done some serious damage. What were you going to say, Angela? You want to say something?
Because like Rick mentioned, what they're doing is they're causing a great intense instability in your life for each person involved. And on both sides, whether still a witness or the ones that are out. And it's an excruciating pain for everybody involved. And that's just what they want. It's like, I don't know, it's like demons feeding or something. It's disgusting.
Yeah, it's like feeding on that knowing that we're hurting, knowing that, and now we have to watch what they're doing to our families. Now we have to watch them bleeding our families for money, changing these policies, and just wondering when they're going to break, if they're going to break. I'm hoping they break. I've got uncles in there. I've got aunts. And I got to tell you, Rick, when I saw them the last time, they looked hopeless. I think I mentioned it on the funeral. They looked like dead man's bones. There wasn't no life to them. And when we were at that assembly, I swear to God on my life, those brothers did not have the joy in them anymore. And how could they when they're being threatened by video? We had 70 videos, brothers, and they get this, like standing ovation. I mean, there's nobody around. It's AI. And I could see the brother. I swear, Rick, I was looking at the brother. I remember going to those conventions when the brothers were passionate and powerful, and it's here and it's now and it's this and it's that. That is gone, Rick. It's concentration camps. I shouldn't say concentration camps. It's the other one. It's FEMA camps. I mean, it used to be paradise, and Jehovah. They're putting a finger in Jehovah's eyeball, and they'll by no means escape and genocide. We just stand and watch. We stand in the middle of all this chaos. It wasn't too long ago they had a Watchtower like this, and now we're going to go into camps until Jehovah says to leave, and donate. But it's crazy, Rick. It's like I don't think there's anything left. I think we might even be not even realizing how far gone they are. I really do think so. I really do think there can't be much left for governing body to be arguing with people, in Spain, and, can't be, Rick. It can't go on. This kind of thing cannot go on. Not today. It's over.
I agree. Stick a fork in them, take them off the grill. Dan, you'll agree with me. This is a very dangerous cult. It's mercilessness. They never, ever, ever. Uh, we never want to stop warning people about the dangers of this cult. The Jehovah's Witness organization clearly promotes divisions. They clearly do it deliberately to break you apart of your family. And that, I mean, when you stop and think about it, a family, you can call it a clan, you can call it a network, you can call it a tribe, but you just call it family. Whatever you call it, whoever you are, you need one. Everybody needs a family. And the Jehovah's Witness organization knows it. So they're going to take that family away from you. If your family doesn't want to become one of Jehovah's Witnesses, toodaloo to your family. It's just absolutely unbelievable. The family, like, yeah, it's a blessed condition, really, having a family.
Yeah, and you know something too, Rick? It's a bust in the chops because you really don't believe it. I've said that before on the show. I didn't believe my mother was going to turn on me. I didn't. I couldn't believe my eyes when my wife went in and told the elders what she did, and they got mad at her, and it was over right then. But I couldn't believe it when my wife went out the back to mow the grass, and the witnesses ran inside. I was like, what in the hell? You know, I thought, what is wrong with these people? We walked in the store. Great guy, Ron McDowell, he's a big artist, Jehovah's Witness. We went by him in the store. It was like we never existed. We ate dinner with him, you know, a week before. We went out to service every day. And it's weird, Rick. I don't think even a lot of PMOs realize. Maybe they do. Maybe they've seen it. But until it happens to you, until you get busted in the chops, and your own mother looks at you and he goes, your dad would be ashamed of you. I can't talk to you. All you can do is give us money. The elder said you could give us money and support us, but we can't have any further conversation with you. Would you see that with your own mother that's been poisoned? You know what I mean? It's a bust. It'll bust your balls. You'll be like, is this for real? Rick, I can't even put words to it because I'll start cussing, but I'm like, it's like you can't even talk. You're like, this can't be real. Am I in a sci-fi movie? My parents have thrown me away. My brothers? Are you shitting me? I think that's the biggest thing that I lost. All my family, all my mother's side, they're all elders. And to lose, just never to talk to again. I saw them when they were babies. I saw them with the gray hair now. I don't even recognize them. They all have accents, Southern accents. They grew up in different states. And I go, Watchtower did this. Watchtower did this. But until you experience it, you don't know it. Until you get bit on the ass by this society, until you get hit upside the head and you feel the reality of a family rejecting you, you don't know what it's like. You know, it's amazing, Rick.
Well, I think of you, Dan. I really do, because I mean, when we've been doing the program here now for going on 19 years, I mean, you have been one that's really been hurt. And, you know, you never really had a family per se. And, you know, a family is people who really love you. They put their arms around you and they love you even when you're not lovable. And you never experienced that, Dan. You know, you never experienced.
Right. I had a mother who was given.
Can I add to you guys? Is it to what Dan and Angela and what you, Rick, are saying? Is that okay?
Yeah, go ahead.
I just wanted to add something because you're touching on a subject that is sensitive for me. But La familia es todo. La familia es todo. That means family is all in Spanish, and that's all I ever wanted. And I really I treasured family, and I'm sorry if I get choked up while I talk about this, but all I ever wanted was to have it. Even if I didn't have children of my own, I at least wanted a strong connection to family. And I was always there for my grandfather because he had a blown out back, and you know, I would be there pressure washing his shingles, whatever he needed. He was an impatient man. If I hesitated for 2 seconds, he'd get somebody else. So, you know what I mean? When the Bible says you keep putting up with one another, it's not always just such a negative context. It just means, well, this is his flaw, you know, and yeah, you keep putting up with them. And I wanted that. And my grandfather died, me being an apostate, and that sucks. My grandmother died, me thinking I'm an apostate, and my other grandmother, I don't care what she thinks of me. But it's just, all I ever wanted was family. And I just wanted to tell this to you guys that, like, when I was disfellowshipped twice, right? I've been disfellowshipped twice. I actually, like, this is just my imperfect, stupid human mind. But, like, I actually, like, considered being in the mafia, because at least I have Italian descent, a quarter side of my family. And it's like, at least I belong to something. But then you wake up out of the stupidity and you're like, I'm not going to do that. But I made bad decisions based on not having family and not having love, and not having someone that gives a shit about me when I'm dying in the hospital, which has happened. Not that I died, but, I was bleeding internally. It could have happened. But anyways, I just thought I'd share that with you, that family is really important, and Jehovah's Witnesses get in the way of that. And they can't help me to think that who else gets in the way of the family arrangement? The government, right? Or the deep state, or whatever you want to call it, the globalists. They don't want us to have. That's why Russia doesn't want the Jehovah's Witnesses, and they don't want extremists, because they want a nation of strong people. I know what they're doing to the witnesses. I'm not condoning it, but it is what it is. But anyways, guys, I know I'm rambling, but I thought I would add that to what all you were saying, that just from my perspective, love and family is all that matters. And that's all I ever wanted. And I couldn't have that in this organization, this wicked organization.
Well, Eric, that really, in fact, it saddens my heart. I'm just thinking here, we know the family is the most important unit. And, even your parents kind of abandoned you. But, I got thinking of certain phrases here and thoughts.
They kicked both their sons out when they got this fellowship, and my brother was only 18. He had nowhere to go, Rick.
Yeah. No, it's disgusting, because I'm thinking of little sayings here about families and what have you. But parents, when you stop and think about it, parents, they're the only ones that are obligated to love you. The rest of the world makes you earn love. Really. But parents are the only ones that are not obligated to love you. I'm sorry, they are obligated to love you, but the rest of the world, you have to earn it. But the Jehovah's Witnesses, you have to earn that love. But Eric, I'm sad to hear what you had to say. And Dan is also in that same category. But thank you for
sharing. If I could just leave you, Rick, with a final thought, is that I worked with a woman who was, let's call her worldly, right? I'm using quotation fingers. I don't mean that negatively towards her, but she was a non-Jehovah's Witness, and she had a horrible thing happen to her daughter and herself. Her daughter became a murderer and killed her lover, and in a passionate. I'm not giving any excuse. I'm just saying that's what happened. They were fighting over something, and she killed her lesbian lover. And the mother went to the courthouse, did everything for her, supported her, still goes and visits her in prison. And I'm just thinking, wow, my mom and dad won't pick up the phone when I'm dying in the hospital because of Watchtower's brainwashing. And I never killed anybody, Rick, or Dan, or Angela, anybody that's listening, I thought I'd throw that out there.
Well, that's
Eric,
good, Eric.
That's wonderful.
I can't imagine though, like Eric said, like being abandoned. I don't know what that would be like to be a kid, because I know I like the warmth of my parents' house. I like to hear the fan coming on at night when I went to bed, and I like to feel that safety. And I can't even imagine to be 17, 18 or whatever, or 15, and my parents to give me that look like it's over. It's over. When you disagree or you come outside, I can't imagine what that's like. I mean, to be abandoned by your own family is like, that would be the worst thing. And I just know what they did when I was older. You know what I mean? My mother was a schizophrenic. So I used to be on my knees. Like Rick said, we didn't have much of a family. I used to be on my mom's knees, 6, 7 years old, convincing her my dad would come back home. She would be sitting in the chair in the middle of dog piss, saying, your dad's never coming home. And I'd say, he's coming home, Mom. Don't you worry. I know he's coming home. And I had to be the adult And I mean, my job was to put these screws in the windows and the doors because she was a paranoid schizophrenic. And, but I love that family. And there wasn't much.
Oh, that's sad, Dan. That's very, very sad. And the Watchtower stole your family from you. And, that's going to be very, very difficult. But I know that you really don't hold your parents hostage. You hold the Watchtower hostage.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was just like you said, it wasn't much. My dad was out of town, 4 brothers, dad came home, shamed by the elders, you're not doing enough, Mel, you're not having a study, you're not doing this, you're not doing that. And he's just working, trying to raise 4 kids. And then every so many years, my mom had a massive nervous breakdown and we were in mental wards, my whole life, And so they didn't do shit, but come over and condemn. And so it's like Watchtower even stole that. And I know it's brainwashing and, I don't even blame the elders. I just think for Toni Morris to say, we'll never change that, you can kiss my ass. That's where all this is coming from. It's like, we're saying, no, you are going to change because you know what? We're the trumpets, you dumbasses. We're the trumpets and we're blowing the damn things loud and those walls of fucking Jericho are coming down. Don't think you're not. I'm sorry, Rick. I'm saying that those fucking walls are coming down. They are coming down. We are blowing the trumpet, and it ain't only me. It's hundreds of thousands of people who've been through the same shit. They said enough is enough, Watchtower, and we're standing toe to toe. We're standing toe to toe. It's got to go.
I agree with you. I agree with you. Well, let's hear what Dick Boogie has to say. Go ahead, Dick.
Yeah, thanks, Rick. It doesn't only affect, people like myself that's been disfellowshipped. Over the years, when I found out years after my mother passed, I had an aunt that told me that my mother cried every single Mother's Day when me and my sister did not acknowledge it. We didn't acknowledge her birthday or Valentine's Day or anything like that, that it affects your family that are not Jehovah's Witnesses in really a traumatic way. Thanks, Rick.
Well, you're very welcome, Dick. Always good to hear from you. No, when we hear these stories, and I try to really think, what is the ugliest side of the Watchtower? Well, what is the most disturbing thing? And it always boils down to the Watchtower taking the liberty to disconnect you from your own family. That is disgusting. And I have to tell you, there have been so many people that called into our program here in the last 19 years that have a story to tell about that and how they have been left abandoned by the only social network that could mean so much to them growing up and give them a good sense of being and head them in the right direction. And this stinking organization has the liberty to take that away from you, and they know it. The thing is, this stinking organization knows what they're doing, and they know that is what's going to really connect you and become loyal to this Watchtower. Terrible, terrible situation. Well, we're glad you're with us. You're on JW World News. If anyone wants to speak up, have you been touched by the tentacles of the Watchtower? You just heard Dan. You heard from Dick. You've heard many others speak up and many, many times here on the 6 screens. Have you been hurt family-wise by the Watchtower? Now is a good time to speak up and talk about it. Go ahead, hit *6. Don't be inhibited. We'd love to hear from you. Sometimes getting it off your chest can make all the difference in the world. Have you really?
Hey, Rick?
Yeah, yes, go ahead.
Sorry, it's Eric again. I just wanted to say to the audience and to you, or ask the audience and you yourself. I've got a lot of anger with my family. However, I think that I wouldn't have a problem forgiving them, and I just wonder how you and the audience feel about that without a long conversation. I mean, having a long conversation and just talking things through. But I think I would have no problem forgiving my family where they don't seem to want to forgive me. Or after 9 reinstatement letters collectively between my wife and I, they clearly don't want to forgive us. And I think that us XJWs, if I'm speaking for us, I'm sorry, but I think we've risen above that. I think that we still will be scarred, and it's gonna, even if they wake up, there's gonna be tension there, and it might not be a perfect relationship, but in time, if you show love through something, I think the love would prevail. What do you think?
Oh, well, Eric, it's so sensible. What you're talking about right now. See, you're showing real Christian love. You would forgive them. Now, I have to tell the audience. I'll tell the audience. I'm not going to tell you who it was, but in the last year, I've had a number. 1, 2. I've had three of my Jehovah's Witness relatives contact me. 3 of them. I'm not going to say who because I don't want to get them in trouble. But this is happening now quite a bit. And I want you all to get used to this. This is going to happen a lot in the future. There's going to be many, many of your relatives and friends. They're going to say, that's it. I'm going to call my dad. I'm going to call my sister, my brother, my cousin, whatever. And I'm going to tell them that, they were right. But don't you in any way ever get aggravated. Now, I had this happen to me not too long ago. A very close relative of mine called me out of the blue. You want to talk about shock. I mean, you haven't talked to this person for over 20 years, and all of a sudden they give you a call. Your first reaction is, I don't want to talk to you. Don't take that reaction. Take just what Eric just said. Forgive them and be as kind as you can and let them talk. You realize how hard that's going to be for a witness who hasn't talked to you for 20, 30 years? And now all of a sudden they're going to call you up and talk to you. Be kind. Be very considerate of what they're saying. That is a monumental event in your life. Take it and cherish it. And listen, if you're listening out here tonight, there's going to be more of that happening. So start planning ahead of time. What are you going to say when your relatives and friends call you that haven't talked to you for so long? What are you going to say? Did you want to say something? Michigan, you're on with us.
Yeah. Hello, Mr. Farron.
Yes.
Yes, I've been listening to this is Ken here from Michigan. I've been listening to the program with interest. Kind of under the weather day here today. It's the weather's really terrible. We had another snowfall here today and all that. The ground is covered with snow right now, and it's really miserable outside. And I just went out to pick up my passenger and went over to visit with my dog for a little bit, and I come right back. I didn't stay out there very long. But I've been listening to the program with interest, as I started to say. And as we have learned every time on a program and all that, the Watchtower Society has really made our life miserable. And I'm very thankful and very happy to hear that family members are contacting you and other people and so forth across the board. So everybody from the Six Screens Network, just hang in there, because it's going to only be a matter of time. It's not a matter of if, just when, that this Watchtower Society is going to be brought down. And like it's been mentioned before, we're not going to be relying on the government or somebody else to intervene for us. We're going to be doing that by the court of public opinion. And we're going to put an end to this nonsense of them violating our First Amendment, violating our civil rights and human rights and everything like that in the name of religion and name of God and so forth. This has gone far enough. It's time we give freedom of religion back to the people and freedom of choice and freedom of speech and so forth, along with constitutionality in general to the people, and put an end to these groups that are trying to destroy our lives and so forth. Because that's all the Watchtower did, is it destroyed everybody's life and so forth, right and left. And so hang in there. I think that we're going to see big changes here in 2024, and we did in 2023, we did in 2024, and the longer we hang in there and the more we go at it, the more progress that we're realizing. So.
Well said, Ken. Well said. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
The words of encouragement. Thank you, Ken, out of the Northern
Hello, Rick.
Peninsula of Michigan. Yeah,
Okay.
you're on with us. Go ahead.
Yeah, we'll take the next caller here.
Go ahead. You're on with us.
Hello, Rick. This is Sparky down in Georgia.
Sparky, how are you?
I'm good. I'm enjoying your show. This is one of the best shows I've heard on your platform. I'm really loving it.
Well, thank you.
Yep. And it's kind of ironic that the last caller's from Michigan. I was born in Michigan, but raised in the South. But in reference to the caller before him, and your audio is not that good tonight, but I'm trying to hear what I can. But he said something about the elders not giving forgiveness. You recall that conversation?
Yes, I do. Yep.
Yep. I think the solution to that, the way to bring peace to that man in his own mind, is for him to realize that the only authority that the elders have over him is what he allows them to have. Don't ask them for forgiveness because they're not qualified to forgive him. Mm-hmm. If he can forgive himself, his life will be much better.
Hey, Sparky.
Hey.
That was my husband, Dan, that was saying that, I believe. And he really wasn't saying what you think he was saying. He's one of them.
It might have been another guy. I don't know. know. But if I'm wrong, I stand corrected. I'm humble enough to acknowledge that.
God.
Well, Sparky,
it wasn't Dan. It wasn't Dan. It was somebody else that was talking about the elders not forgiving them or not acknowledging them or willing to bring them back in the congregation.
Yeah.
And my theory in life is,
just to clear it up, it was me that wasn't allowed back in the congregation, Eric.
You're the
just
guy.
To tell the brother that he knew he heard what he heard. Yeah.
But
yes, sir.
My point is, the elders have no authority over you. Only that which you allow them. Right. And in this new subject of beards, I grew a beard after that article came out in 2016 or 2017, whenever it was. And I got called into the back room multiple times over it. And I told the elders, I said, they told me I wouldn't be shunned, but I was shunned. But I didn't care. It didn't matter to me. I couldn't give a rip less one way or the other because I knew there was nothing wrong with it. And if people in the congregation wanted to judge me, I did not care. And it's that freedom that comes from getting away from this cult and being happy within your own skin and not worried about what people think about you.
Mm-hmm. Amen, Sparky.
And that is what has helped me.
Well, thank you for sharing that thought with us, Sparky. Did you want to say something, Angela? I know you're listening in there. Did you want to say something, Sparky?
Hey, before I hang up, I spoke with Fran and Joe a few minutes ago. I texted them, and if Nadine is listening, she's got my number. I want to talk to her. So if you're listening, Nadine, you can call me after the show.
Well, Rick, I didn't really have anything more to say except for I do absolutely agree with that. And it's important, the more that we grow in knowing who we are and getting in touch with who we are as a special, very special, unique child of God that has a special uniqueness that adds so much to the world, and we really get in touch with that, then we don't worry so much about what other people think. And, we're all growing in that way, every single one of us, because where we came from, you do worry about that. You do worry about what other people think. It's what it's all about all the time, every day. And you don't dare say a word or you might be ostracized, and it. So you just stay in line, and we don't have a sense of ourselves or what we believe or think about anything. You're not allowed to have such thoughts or they will cost you. So anyway, I like what Sparky said, and I 100% agree with it. But what I wanted to add tonight was just that I kind of like the little vein of what's about ready to happen, and that's that we're going to start getting some phone calls. And it hit me like, yes, we are. And maybe it's really hard for them because they have shunned us for so long. But, you know, here's with my kids, they were brainwashed thoroughly. I don't know how in the world, but that to believe that I have left, you know, I'll just use you guys' word, Jehovah, but we didn't call him Jehovah in my church. It was, but they believe that I left God, and that for that reason that they had to shun me because it says it in the Bible, that you do that. So that, you know, I could spoil them or, you know, hurt them somehow. And so they have to shun me. And so they're trying to do what they feel is giving what they really want, which is their mom, up for God. And they think that they're doing the right thing, and that it's that before God that they will be honored and blessed because they had to give up their very own mom. And so that breaks my heart. And I think when we realize that these people are just, and at least they believe this is what they're doing, is they're giving their kids up for God, for Jehovah. I mean, you almost have to say that's commendable. As deranged as it is and as incorrect as it is, it's still what they're trying to do. And it makes it a little bit easier for me when my kids finally do come back around, because I suppose it'll be when my ex-husband is dead and they come back around and they start to get a hold of themselves. I mean, I hope to God. It's been for me 19 years. And I was wanting to write to my daughter and say, well, it'll be 20-year anniversary in 2025, you know. And it's like she keeps trying to make it out that I'm the one who doesn't want to get back together with her, but it's just her excuse out of fear because she doesn't want to be harassed and gone through the mill because she talked to me. It's not worth it. It's like Stockholm syndrome. You know, this horrible fear. It's intense fear. And so, you know, I just guess maybe we all ought to start thinking about what is going to happen when we start getting some phone calls, and how are we going to feel about it, and how are we going to react, and are we going to be able to be like God and love unconditionally with open arms, like the prodigal son story, you know, or are we going to shun them back because we're so mad at them for doing that to us for so long? And, well, where have you been in my life? You know, my kids are grown and gone now. You know, you weren't here. I don't know what to say. Literally, my sisters say this to my own father, you know, when he tries to, you know, get back in their lives. Nope, not coming back. Too late. And this is how they are. It's just heartless. And I'm like, I hope that we're not going to be that way. I hope that all of us just shine the light of love, and that we just call on God and ask him to transmute our fuming emotions and just calm them and quell them and cause us to say, you know what? I forgive you. Let's start over. And just give them a big old hug. I hope that's what we do. Because I know me sometimes when I'm mad, that's what I intend to do, and then I don't. I'm like, darn it, why couldn't I do it? You know, but I hope we could just call on God right that minute, ask him to quell those emotions and turn it around and transmute it and cause us to just transform those emotions and say, you bet, I am so glad to see you. Come here. Let me give you a big hug. I hope that's what we do. That's what I hope we do. That's all I wanted to say.
Well, amen to that, Angela. Well, that's good admonition. Thank you for sharing that. Anyways, you're on JW World News. We're wrapping these things up. I got the picture from Nadine of the man that has the beard at the Kingdom Hall. We'll put that up on YouTube. But Dick, did you want to say something? Dick Boogie. All right.
Yeah, hi.
Oh, it's Constance. Yep.
Constance.
Yep.
Dear, I wanted to say hello to Sparky. We're your neighbors in South Carolina, since you're in Georgia. I love your accent. But, you know, Rick, you think about, you know, the witnesses. I've been out 40 years, and I'm grateful I have been out 40 years. I left when I was 28. I'm 68 now. And, you know, for me, it's pretty easy to be pretty empathetic and put myself in other people's shoes. Call it a gift, call it whatever, but that's really easy for me to do. I was just going to say how that applies in this situation is, yeah, a lot of us were very angry, very burned, from the witnesses, from the organization, and so forth. I totally get that. I really do. But, you think about people who just are waking up or they're PMOs and, they've got 1 foot in, 1 foot out. They're staying in for whatever reasons. But the point I'm trying to make is it's really a leap of faith to come out of that organization. It takes a tremendous amount of courage, and it can be done. It can really be done, especially when you see how false the religion is. You're wasting every single day of your life in an organization that is nothing more than a corporation that has like the clenches of, Satan the devil wrapped around your throat and your jugular vein. And it's so oppressive and tyrannical. And so you think about the people that come out, yes, like Dan's family and so forth, and Angela's, and even Rich's family. It takes Rick, it takes a lot of humility to come forward and say, yeah, you know what? My family or my father or my mother or whomever, sister, brother, yeah, they were right about Watchtower. And I'm just waking up right now. And oh my God, they were so right. And I've shunned them for like 25, 30 years. Last time my dad saw me, I was 13 and now I'm 43. Oh my God, I can't ever get those years back. So it takes a tremendous amount of humility, and you have to push that damn pride away. Remember, Lucifer was thrown out of the heavens because of pride. Watchtower is all about pride. So I totally agree with what Angela said. You have to really come forward and love these people. We were there at one time. We really were. And yet, nobody likes to be disrespected or unloved. You just have, I think what it comes down to, Rick, is you have to get to a point where you love yourself enough that you can get to the point of forgiving some of these very, very deep wounds. You don't have to be a witness or an apostate to have family members like mine who were never witnesses, and yet we're not a family. There's a lot of issues in families that can happen, Rick, where families break up. Okay, let's just get real. So, you have to have forgiveness and you have to have a lot of love for them. And my point is take the high road, do what's right. And, wouldn't it be great, like Angela said, you open your arms, love these people, and then you get a second chance to have, your family back. That is a beautiful thing. And I think that's what we all want in life. Love always prevails. So thank you, Rick.
Well, thank you, Constance.
Could I say one thing, Rick?
Hold on, Dan. We've got a number of people here, new ones that haven't spoken up here tonight. Then I'll get back to you, Dan. You hold on. If you'd like to speak up for the first time, I just saw a whole lot of new people coming in. Well, let's try 864. 864. Go ahead. You're on with us.
Oh, hey, Rick. How are you doing today? Happy New Year to everyone, yourself, and all the listeners.
Thank you.
And I just want to stress the fact, I think it's been touched on numerous times today, on if we get a phone call from our loved ones that are still captive in the organization, these ones we know they don't know that they are under mind control. We know they are, but they don't know that. But when they finally start to wake up and they reach out to us, we should feel the love in our hearts. It's been mentioned by many others on the line here. Like the prodigal son, the very good story, the prodigal son. And he went off and squandered everything. And when he came back or woke up from his wrongdoing, what was the reaction? It's the same reaction we should have to open our arms, bring out the fatted calf, that these ones have finally woken up or are starting to wake up. So that's our attitude. We that have left the organization, I believe, have more love in our hearts because the organization takes away our love in our hearts. They make us their servants, and they make us into their slaves. But when we finally wake up and we know we have our love in our hearts, It moves us to leave the organization because we have more love in our heart. So this is the feeling we should give the ones that contact us that are finally waking up. Give them the love, like the prodigal son, perfect parable. And I think we should mimic what we've learned in our years of being associated with the witnesses. That was a story that touched me in my years of being associated. And I think we should adopt that to those that may reach out to us in the future.
Well said. Really, really, brother. Amen to that. You did a fine job explaining that. Good job. Thank you, brother, for calling in.
Thank you too, Brother Rick.
Let's check out 661. Go ahead, 661. You're on with us. Go ahead.
Yeah, hey Rick, thanks for taking my call. I just want to thank the Six Screens. I've been listening to you for about 9-10 months now, and I've gone through the gamut of everything we all know about the Watchtower. As a small kid, I was about 5-6 years old. My mom divorced my alcoholic father, and she moved us to Hawaii. We're out in Alabama. She moved us to Hawaii. I'm the oldest of 3 brothers, and we were forced to be involved in this, whatever you call it, cult. And I've went through the gamut of everything, the childhood abuse like Dan talked about before. I mean, just classic. I got hit, with the Hot Wheel tracks that I used to play on. My mom would buy me a football, and then my brothers and I would be playing it in the house. We're just kids, And then one time I kind of lobbed it a little too high over his arms to catch the ball. And it kind of hit our mother. And boy, we got a real big spanking over that. And then she took a kitchen knife and stabbed the football and threw the doggone thing away. And we only had it for maybe a couple of weeks. And then as I grew up over the years, I mean, just missing out on all the Christmas, all us kids, we all want to have Christmas and just be a kid. Go to Halloween and get candy. We just wanted to be part of everybody else. And just to be ostracized, like we couldn't say the Pledge of Allegiance and all the things that I call are just child abuse in general. If you want to pick one religion that's going to be abusing children, my gosh, it's the Watchtower organization. It's just disgusting. And then, as I'm moving on through the years, I'm maturing. At 12 years old, one of the ministerial servants molested me. And I told my mom, and this is all classic. This is not anything new about them, but she just kind of downplayed it and just swept it under the rug. And then later on, when I left Hawaii, because I wanted the hell out of there, I left at 18, and I got the hell out of there because nothing was going good for me there. Of course, I wanted to go to college. Every time I turned around, they discouraged me. So I got the hell out of there. I made that break. But I went through so much abuse before I left home, being raised in the Jehovah's Witness religion. It just really did a number. And just everything. It's just very, very disgusting. And my mom, I mean, God bless her heart, she's 84 years old now. And she's still one of these old-time Jehovah's Witnesses. And I showed her, there was an article not too long ago. They caught that elder, and it was a $40 million judgment right on the same island that my mom lives on. So I sent her that article, and she didn't say one doggone thing about it. So then I started sending her a little bit of stuff. I mean, I wasn't forwarding 6-screen videos because, I just kind of wanted to do it tactfully. And just over the years and listening to you guys and you, Mr. Farron, I just thank you so much. I mean, your program has just been so invaluable to me because it's great therapy to know that, like Dan, I wasn't, alone when I went through that. A lot of us back in the old days, growing up in the 70s, and, it was like 1982 when I got the hell out of there. Best decision I ever made. Then I really got on with my life. But going back a little bit to like high school as I was maturing, I wanted to play sports. I wanted to play football. But, all that crap, and I'm going to swear here, all the shit that they discourage kids from playing sports, organized sports, because they don't want you to be competitive. My gosh, isn't that what life is about? You have to compete. So just a long train of stuff that I've endured when I was a child. And now with the help of your program, Rick, I've been able to try to tactfully talk to my mom, who's still a devout Jehovah's Witness, but she's Korean. And actually, she has roots to North Korea. And I saw an article not too long ago, it was a video. It's like they were in a regimented type North Korean environment. Of course, they migrated to South Korea. But I think Koreans are very kind of like, what's the word I'm looking for? I think they're easily gullible. And then once they're brainwashed or led to believe something, you can't shake them out of it. Look at all these people that are in North Korea. They're just like zombies, like worshiping Kim Jong-un. It's just very depressing. So I sent her a few things, and I sent her a picture of something, but I meant to send it to my brother who got this fellowship, and by accident it went to my mom. So then she started accusing me as an apostate. But see, she was being very nice to me from the time I've been 18. I was never baptized, thank God, because I was too smart to turn around and get baptized. I knew it was kind of a cult, and I knew it wasn't right. But she just sticks up for the organization. I see a lot. My stepfather, he's retired. He's been retired for a long time. But he does this work where he makes his own, he makes a lot of money. He has his own little business where he contracts himself, to make a long story short. But I've been wondering, I went back there this last September, and I see him. He's working every doggone day. And this guy's supposed to be retired. And my parents have even reverse mortgaged their house. And I'm thinking, and it's just them too. And I'm thinking, where in the hell is all this money going that they have? And I can only deduce that they're giving a hell of a lot of this money to the GD Watchtower organization. So this kind of stuff really runs deep with me. I'm still passionate because I've been hurt so much by this organization. It's just disgusting. The whole thing just disgusts me. And in a way, it inflames me a little bit more when I listen to the six screens, because I hear everybody's experience and they're all so common. But you know what? It's just so wrong, the amount of damage that they've done that has affected so many people's lives and so many children that grew up, and now they can realize just how abusive it was. So then it makes me wonder, my gosh, did my mom have the natural love for me or not? Or was she just a robotic, brainwashed person trying to raise kids according to what the cult dictates. So I look forward to your show every Saturday, Rick, and just hearing from everybody. Like I said, it is therapeutic, but on the flip side of the coin, it just burns me to all get-go. So I kind of told my mom everything I've been wanting to say for all these years that I kept quiet. And every time I went back home on vacations to see them, I'd always have to hear the spiel about, why don't you think about coming back to Jehovah? And, you know, my brother, my middle brother, he got baptized. And they just fellowshipped him for something minor. And for me to see how my parents treated my disfellowshipped brother when he's family, oh, it's disgusting. My brother was having to live homeless after he was disfellowshipped. And he got really, really sick because he was living in his car. He tried to come home and ask our stepfather, hey, can I just come in and sleep in the bed? I'm really tired. I just want to get some sleep. He turned around and told him he can go to the ER for that. Anybody who's ever spent time in the ER, there ain't no damn way you can get any ounce of sleep in an ER. I'm sorry. But I just felt good that I told my mom, I know everything now because I've seen it from the inside, which helps me. I want to be somewhat of an activist, but now in my life, in this chapter of my life, I'm just still trying to be good to myself in a good way and be good to others. So I want to kind of join the team with the Six Screens and everyone else to kind of make everybody aware of the evils of the Watchtower organization. And they're just all looking for the bottom line, the dollar. So all these adjustments that they're doing at the governing body and the society, they want to be, let's just say it, more user-friendly, so to speak. So they can just act like, oh, we're kind of new and improved. Yeah, this new light bullshit. It's all a scam. Everybody knows it's a scam. And like you say, it's a business masquerading as a religion. And these money grubbers, they just make me disgusted. But I'm a Christian now. I follow the Lord Jesus Christ. You know, the only way to heaven through Jesus Christ. And I called my mom and dad out because my mom, I recently moved. My mom sent the damn witnesses because I live way the hell out in the country. But she sent the witnesses to my door trying to invite me to the memorial. And I kicked these people out. I'm sorry, that's how I handled it because I have nothing but contempt for anyone who represents the Watchtower. That's just where I'm at right now. So I just wanted to say that I could go on for days, but I'm going to leave it at that, Mr. Farron and everybody else. But Dan, you made me want to speak up because when you talked about getting whacked by the Hot Wheel tracks, yeah, that brought back all those memories. So thank you, everybody. Thank you, Rick Farron.
Well, now, brother, what was your name now? Give me a name.
Edward.
Edward, you made my night. You really made my night. I was sitting here listening to your story, and I'm sorry all this had to happen in your life, but Edward, it's all going to get better. You keep waving that flag of victory, okay?
Thank you, Rick.
Thank you. Oh, my goodness gracious. Well, that's Edward, and what a story he had to tell. Hey, we got a few more minutes left. If you wanted to come on tonight and say hello to us. Yeah, and Fran and Joe. Yes, Fran.
Well, hi, Rick. It's so good to hear you, everyone. And sorry you were sick during the week. That must have been pretty bad.
Oh,
We've
yeah.
known a lot of people.
It was
sick.
brutal. Yeah, a lot of people sick last week. Yeah.
Yeah. Appreciated the last caller. I know it was his first time, and we know what that's like. It's kind of nerve-wracking getting on, but appreciate, people calling in. We just wanted to update everybody. We have been having so many good calls. You can't believe it. We've had at least one new one every day. People that are leaving, people that are speaking out. And we have, I don't know if she's on tonight, but we have Dinah Lost, and she's made her own YouTube channel. And she's only been out since October. We have, I don't know what she goes by, Ruby. Ruby, I don't want to give her real name. She goes by Ruby, and she's already confronted. She got the carts out of the big grocery store in her town. They did away with the carts because she went to the manager and she told them that Jehovah's Witnesses hide pedophiles. And she says, as a matter of fact, one of the men sitting there at the cart is a known pedophile. And she knows this for sure because she worked in criminal justice. So there are so many coming out. We're connecting people. We appreciate having the opportunity on 6 screens to do the outside story. And now we have our own channel. It's the Joe and Fran Garino, just Joe and Fran Garino. We do it Wednesday evening at 6 p.m. 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we appreciate all the support that you've given us, Rick, over the last year.
Well, excellent. Well, thank you. Well, thank you, Fran. That's good. I'm glad you plugged the program there as well. Well, no doubt. I mean, all of the people, the YouTube people, yourself, all of the people that have been activists and calling into these programs and voicing their thoughts, things are exploding, Fran and Joe. You're absolutely right. It's exploding right now. Yeah.
I know earlier they were talking about, being there for when our family, wakes up. But in the meantime, there are so many waking up that need our help right now. And if anybody wants to reach out, we've got a lot of people that are willing to, communicate and contact these folks. Our phone number is 315-221-0130. Please call us. Please text us. We can give you names of people, and it's just exploding. It really is. We are just so privileged to be part of this.
Oh, it's really good. Now, listen, if you want to get a hold of Fran and Joe, write me at JW World News. I have all the contact information, and I'll be able to give you information for Fran and Joe. No, I can't even imagine how many people will be leaving this organization in the next 6, 8, 10 months. It's just unbelievable. Even tonight, I'm noticing the amount of people calling into the program. And at one point, it's all new callers, too. I'm pretty used to, I know you guys from Watertown, New York, and I can kind of tell certain numbers, but I'm noticing all these new people that were calling in tonight, Fran and Joe. It's just totally amazing. Well, thank you. Thank you for sharing that thoughts with us, and keep up the good work.
Oh, you're welcome, Rick. And you too. We love you guys.
We love you. We love you too, Fran and Joe. My goodness gracious.
Okay.
Well, there you have it. That's
thank you,
Fran and Joe. So we got a few minutes left. If you have something to say, anyone wants a last word, now's the time to do it. It's *6 on your telephone pad. I got a picture here from Nadine. I'm going to be showing you the picture. She went to the Kingdom Hall, and she took a picture. Dick, you're on with us. Go ahead.
Yeah, Rick, I just want to comment about you're talking about earlier in the program about the Watchtower suing Israel and his organization. They tried, the number 2 person at the Watchtower during Rutherford's time pointed a finger at Rutherford and said he was a womanizer, a drunk, and a whole bunch of really negative things. So Rutherford turned around and he sued that brother. Well, he lost the lawsuit because everything that brother said about him was true. And also in C.T. Russell's time, there was a lawsuit against him. And Rutherford was the attorney that backed C.T. Russell, and they lost. So it's confirmed that Rutherford was a womanizer, was a drunk, and everybody knows it because it went to court, and the number 2 person at the Watchtower at the time proved it. So now the Watchtower is turning around, and they're trying to sue someone like Israel. Well, and it backfired too, because now we know what we've known for a long, long time, that the Watchtower is a fraud. Thanks, Rick.
Oh, there you go. Thank you, Dick. Well, my goodness gracious, what a night we had. Lots of people. In fact, I think we broke some records here tonight. Lots of people listening in. So what does that tell me? What does that tell you? That more and more people are leaving the Watchtower. And what a marvelous thing that is. I mean, it hasn't always been this way, but as Fran was just on saying it as well, they're getting so many people calling them, and I'm getting people here emailing me every single day about something on how they have relatives that are leaving and what have you. So it's all good. It's all good. Now, just to reiterate here, I just wanted to mention, well, Dan, go ahead. Dan, let's get your last word in. Yep.
I just wanted to say a short final thought, Rick, that those people that are considering coming out, they can follow the love. Me and Angela, when we both came out, she came out of another religion just like ours. I came out, love was waiting for you. And like you heard with Fran, Eric, everybody, you, we're love. We found love. God will never abandon us. And so if we come out and we just follow that love, you know, it will guide us. God's going to guide us. And we've both been guided. We both have a great life. Lots of people that have come out, we've landed on our feet. You're not going to be abandoned because love is there. And all it took was a morsel for me and Angela to come out. Somebody just showed us just a thimbleful. The witnesses are starving. So we want to be the love, like somebody said with the prodigal son journey. We want to be that love. And who wouldn't? We're not mad at the brothers. We're mad at the gatekeepers, the slave owners. Those are the ones that were saying no more. But the brothers will gladly receive them. Even though I told somebody one time, if the governing body really apologized, really said they were sorry, changed all their policies, I'd take down my sights tomorrow. I'd be done. Because I believe in that. I believe in turning around. And so I just want to say you can trust love. Love is waiting for you. Go for it. That's it, Rick. Thank you.
Well, thank you for your comments, Dan. And it's so nice to hear Everett call in tonight and make reference to some of your comments. So you helped him. You're helping a lot of people, Dan. And your wife, Angela, as well. You're both helping. So that's good. Excuse me. So anyways, I just want to mention that the duck didn't come down tonight. I was hoping the duck could come down. He's itching to give away $20. We had 2 words tonight, 2 secret words, and I can't believe they weren't mentioned all night. One word was cart work. We didn't hear the word cart work. We didn't hear the word pioneer. I can't believe we had a 3-hour program here without hearing either of those words, but we didn't hear it. So maybe next week the duck will come down and give someone the $20. Write me if you're interested in the Still Alive in 2025 convention. Write me at jwworldnews@gmail.com and we'll get you on the list. First come, first serve. So looking forward to your email. I'm going to put up here the picture. Nadine, what a nice lady she is. She's out there in California. And so she went to the Kingdom Hall last week and took a picture of a brother with a beard. And we're going to show that picture here on YouTube and Facebook. But if you have a picture, we got a contest going now. Send me your pictures of brothers with beards. If you go to the Kingdom Hall, you park in the parking lot, take a picture of the brothers with beards. Send them here to jwworldnews@gmail.com. And we got some nice prizes that we'll be giving up. So we get a little contest going. Let's see how many pictures of brothers with beards we can get here on the 6 screens. So we'll end the program with the picture up. I want to thank you all for coming in. There's no 6 screen Sunday tomorrow. That'll be in another week. But also, if you like our channel, go ahead and subscribe to it. Go ahead and at least like it. And what that will do is get more and more people to listen into the 6 screens and help them to get over the hump of being in the Watchtower. So thank you very much for being with us. And the last one, leaving the Watchtower. By all means, turn off the new light. I'll put the picture up so you'll see it from Nadine. And I want to wish you all a good night. And we'll see you back next week. So here is the picture. Let me see if I can get this picture up so we can get it up and so you'll see it. Just give us a second. We have this picture here, right here. Okay, hold on 1 second. Why? Okay, there it is there. Now just give me a second and I'll get this up so we can all see the picture that Nadine, there's the brother at the Kingdom Hall with the beard. You'll see it here very, very shortly. So let's, I think, I hope, I wish I could get a little bit bigger, but I think that you can see it. So we'll end the program right here. And thank you very much for coming in to the Six Screens Telenetwork tonight. We'll see you next Saturday night, beginning at 5:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with our good friend Anne Marie out of Northern California, touched by the tentacles of the Watchtower. There's a picture. I hope you can see it. I can't make it any bigger, but if you look close, you'll see it. There's the man. That's the Jehovah's Witness with a beard. All right, folks. Good night, everyone. Keep standing tall. Don't you ever give in, up or out. Good night, all. Thank you.